Hello everyone and welcome to our live stream. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, my friends. Always, every single Friday. We've been doing this for, well, more than a year now. And yeah, it's been amazing. So let's keep going. Today we're going to be working with our character within, as you guys know, or if you've been living under a rock, we launched our new community contest last Friday, which was our Creatures Unleashed contest. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check some of the videos here on the page about it. Make sure to join the Discord channel for all of the information. We are, of course, going to be answering questions if there's more questions, but we did that quite a bit on the last live stream, so make sure, again, to check it out. Let me see. Yeah, you can watch us on Twitch, you can watch us on YouTube. Both places are the exact same thing. Well, not the exact same thing. I like both of them, to be honest. I feel like, what's the word? Twitch has a little bit more interactions available to it, but I don't mind. I don't mind YouTube. There we go. Let's see. Hey, if does over-detailing cause loss in marks, like we should add rest areas? That's up to you, man. That's design principles. I mean, I can tell you that, yes, over-designing things could potentially be something that's going to make the whole thing difficult to appreciate or difficult to see. So you might want to, like, check it out and see where or how you want to, like, process that sort of stuff. Okay, so this is the abomination that we were doing last time, and today we're going to continue working on it as we answer questions, as we have fun, and as we explore and talk about the 3D world. So, I want to do a little exercise. We did this a couple of weeks ago, okay? Well, like a couple of months ago. But this is something that I tell you guys. Right now we have a good chunk of people watching, but not all of you comment or ask questions. And I want to encourage you guys to use that or to learn a little bit of those sort of like social skills that we as artists also need to do. So if you're watching right now, if you're going to be watching this live stream, if you never comment, you're just a lurker, you don't like to ask questions or anything, try to challenge yourself and be like, hey, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to lose that shyness. I'm going to be a little bit brave here. I know it sounds weird, but people get really, really scared. I used to get very like social anxiety from trying to like ask questions or stuff like that. Just ask questions, say hi, say hey guys, I am doing this, I'm doing that, and then just yeah, just say hi. Okay, so try that, especially if you guys are thinking about, hey, what can I do to improve my chances to get in the industry. Being social, being able to talk to people, being able to ask questions, that's very, very important as well. Did you try the Zbrush? No, I have not. I have not tried it, but it might be a good idea to get it. Let me very quickly see if I can get it here. Let's see. Zbrush. Sharpen knife, pumpkin, the Zbrush. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so the Zbrush is from Paplander as well. It's got a bunch of things on the Zbrush guides side. It's a cool place. Let's go here to load brush, downloads the Zbrush. Let's give it a shot. Okay, not bad. Not bad. As you can see, it gives me sort of like nice striations. I like it. We're definitely gonna have, or we're gonna need to have a little bit more resolution for this to really like give us the detail that we're going for. So let's start then. Let's start working on the character. The first thing I want to do is I want to like divide the spikes, all of the spikes right here. I want to sort of like bring them out. We're thinking about multiverse. Imagine a universe where you're Dr. Abraham Leal. I've thought about that. I've thought about that. I've mentioned this before. I think if I did finish med school, I would have probably been into research. Like, I don't really see myself as being part of, like, everyday, like, hospital work, you know? You know what I mean? Because I'm not scared by blood. Like, I remember, like, watching blood and everything. I even learned how to stitch back when I was in med school. But, it's just the sort of, like, the time-consuming aspect of it that I didn't felt as much. Let's see. Split, and let's split unmasked points. Or sorry, split hidden. There we go. So let's fix a little bit of the anatomy here on this guy before we do the spikes. Because it's going to make it so that the spikes are a little bit easier. I'm just going to trim dynamic this. There we go. Feels bad not having watched live sleep and see this from the start. Oh, it's there, man. The live stream is on YouTube. All of the live streams, we upload them a little bit after they aired. So that one actually we left on immediately after because it was the competition announcement, and I want to make sure that everyone was up to date with that one. So if you want to see it, it's on YouTube. Like don't go and watch it right now, right? You're gonna miss this one. but if you want to watch it during the weekend, it's there. What was the first character design that you remember blowing your mind? From someone else, right? Or do you mean mine? But from someone else, like a character design that was like, oh my god, that's so cool. It was the Lich King. I have my Lich King statue right there. I remember when I saw the Lich King cinematic, I was like, that character... Because I didn't play Warcraft. I didn't play Warcraft 3 or anything. So when I saw the cinematic for Wrath of the Lich King, I was just like blown away. So like, that was one of the things that realized or made me decide to pursue this career. Is like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, it was just like that inspiring. So whoever did the Lich King cinematic character model, you are guilty of me being in this industry. So thank you for that. I know it was probably not just a single person. That's another thing that I realized or learned about the industry later on. Most of the big projects that we see out there, movies, games, cinematics, all that stuff, it's not usually one person. There's multiple like artists involved to generate that sort of like quality. Because I've gotten this question before. It's like, oh, could you do a cinematic like World of Warcraft cinematics? No. By myself? No. I might be able to do like one character, but do the whole thing, like shaders, rendering, animation, no. Those are a bunch of specialized people who are doing that. Wolfgirl with the gifts, man! Damn! Hey, thank you for all of the subs. 5 subs there. To Kefkas, Obnoxious, Leeman, The Big Brush, and Adley. That was awesome, man. Thank you. Wolfgirl, thank you very much. Harambe says, oh, nice. Harambe says he's going into BFX now. That's awesome, man. You're gonna have to teach me some of that later on. Because that's definitely one of the areas that I don't do, to be honest. Any tip to achieve an organic rocky scheme for the creature, like a golem or volcanic rock? You want alphas. You definitely want alphas, Demian Santos. That's probably the best way to do it. Alan, what's up, man? Those cinematics were done by... No. 3D Maniac. Well, I'm not sure if the early cinematics were done by Blur, but Blizzard has their own cinematic department. Like, I remember seeing, like, the Mist of Pandarius making off, and it showed, like, the Blizzard campus. So it's... I know Blur does a lot of cinematics. They do the League of Legends ones, though. Like, the early League of Legends cinematics, those were done by Blur. Let's see. I feel some bad with thick notes, but I can't be helped. Oh, Empress, I missed that message. It's not a necessary question, but rather something I wanted to share. I really struggle with using tablet, pen especially. I know that it's just a question of enough practice, but I use mouse since 1996, and I'm so... Yeah, Dicky Peaky. That's an awesome name. It can get tricky. If you have the money to invest, you might want to try a pen display. And the pen displays, I feel, are a little bit easier for some people because you're actually seeing where you're sculpting. The other one, where you're using it as a tablet, that sometimes requires a little bit more practice and coordination because it's like a hand-eye coordination. So, but yeah, it does take a while. I can remember when I first started using tablets, it was also like a little bit of a difficult transition at first. But once you get used to it, it's very, very, very useful. Okay. I was thinking about adding like a corrupted crystal on the chest, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Would that make sense? And yeah, whoever's saying there, like, you're taking notes, go for it, man. I wish we took notes more traditionally. Nowadays, everything's digital. I tried, like my handwriting now sucks. It was always bad, but now after not having written anything in a long time, it's definitely more... It has gotten way worse. No, I have not seen the World Robot. I have a small girl. She's 3 years old, and that makes it difficult to go to the movies, to be honest. even though it's a DreamWorks movie, I don't think she's gonna be able to stay still for so long. So I usually have to wait until the movies are released on the streaming platforms. We were able to go and see Inside Out 2, and she liked that one. So, but yeah, it's definitely tricky. Is it hard to be a general artist? No, I don't think so, Agobi. It really depends on where you are geographically speaking. So, for instance, here in Mexico, the studio that I run, it's a small studio. I've mentioned this before. We're only like 5 people. And in this studio, you need to be a generalist. Like when I hire someone, I need them to do a little bit of everything because we're such a small team that I need to be sure that if I tell you, hey, we need to rig this or we need to animate this part or I need you to do a texture or go and do a sculpt, you're going to be able to do it. So depending on where you are, the skills of a generalist are going to be very, very useful. Other places, like if you're more in like the US or in Canada, you might want to go a little bit more specialized because the big studios will look for specialization. Yeah, 3D Maniac, totally related there, man. It's tricky with small kids. Looks great, like a sand mat. Yeah, it's like a snake. It's like an abomination. It's called the ape abomination. Little pun intended there. But yeah, I kind of want to do it a little bit more stylized though. Like not too much, but just a little bit. So I might sharpen things. You guys know I don't do like hyper real stuff. So I might just sharpen a couple of things here and there. I'm eating tacos in your honor while watching the stream. Great Friday, not gonna lie. There you go. It's Taco Friday now. As long as they're good tacos. Yeah, it's like a naga. That's right, that's right. You sculpt with a mouse, Metal Gear? Oh, dude. Oh, man. I mean, props to you, but I wouldn't wish that to my worst enemy, man. That's tricky. Yeah, sculpting with a mouse, it's definitely complicated, man. I remember when I started Zbrush back in 2011, there was this guy that shared some sculpts, and he was also mentioning that he was sculpting with a mouse. But even back then, the general consensus was, hey, if you want to do Zbrush, get a tablet. There's some cheap ones nowadays, by the way. Every brand. How about hardened skin like armor in the armor and body? That's a good option. Yeah, we can do that a little bit in texture though. This is where the spine would be. There we go. Super sad now. The war isn't out in my region. Need to wait for 5 days. 5 days not too much. You guys remember back in early 2000s, would you have to wait weeks for things to be released? That was complicated. Oh no, guys, if you're sculpting with a mouse, try giving a tablet a go. You might see a good improvement there. It's literally night and day. The pressure sensitivity, it's the main thing. Like I'm sure you can get some of like the interesting forms with just like a mouse. But yeah, pressure sensitivity is gonna be the big one. Let's see. Is it better to learn retopology well before rigging? That's a great question. That's a great question, actually. See, I feel like people make rigging too difficult for themselves. What I mean by this is, yes, there's very complex rigs, right? Like if you're doing a dragon or a bird or things like that. But rigging something as simple as a door, like you can rig a door. Add some curves, add some joints, make sure that they like respond nicely with that sort of stuff. You can rig something like a small little creature, right? Like I don't know, like a worm or a snake. You can rig a snake, and those type of rigs will teach you important things about the production pipeline, and they will teach you important things about deformation, how topology behaves, that I think could benefit you with retopology. However, normally retopology is first. Like you learn about retopology first, and then you're like, oh, this is why we did retopology in this specific way, because once we're doing rigging, we want this specific area to deform in this direction. Like I remember learning retopology before learning rigging. because it was just, again, that's like the usual way to do it, right? But that doesn't mean that you can do it the other way. Again, like there's a bunch of things that you could learn how to rig. Like I did a rigging course a couple of years back. I'm not sure if I want to do another one, to be honest, because it's very basic, and I feel like I might just do like YouTube videos instead. And we did the rig of a bow, like a traditional archery bow, and then that's a good exercise to learn about rigging, because it teaches you about joints, it teaches you about curves, it teaches you about constraints. So rigging is not only about characters and creatures. You can rig so many things, and there's actually sometimes more rigs about those things. I'm gonna make the spikes a little bit bigger. Let's go. Yeah, let's go a little bit stylized. So we're gonna have to make them a little bit bigger, especially so that the silhouette looks interesting. How do outsourcing studios get work from big studios? How do they approach them and secure test projects? What steps should someone like me to make slowly? That's another trick question, or not trick question, but interesting question. So an outsourced studio needs to generate a portfolio. So you generate the portfolios like, hey, this is the kind of stuff that we can do. Modeling, rigging, animation, like you showed them your skills. And then you bid. And actually that's one of the problems of the industry, freaking bids. So let's say Blizzard is looking to do Overwatch 3, and they need outsourced studios, which by the way they use. A lot of people think that Blizzard does everything in-house. No, they don't. They have several outsourced studios around the world. So they need outsourced studios to do, again, like props, boxes, barrels, walls, door frames, computer thingies, like elements that are going to be on the games. Characters are usually done by the in-team, but everything else can be outsourced. So they go around, like literally shopping, and they're like, hey, we need to do, I don't know, 300 assets. This type of asset, this type of like textures, this type of elements. How much would you charge me to do that? And then you, as an outsourced studio, are like, okay, I can do that for whatever, X amount of money. And that's where the negotiations come into place. And that's actually the same way it works with movies. And again, this is one of like the damaging things about the industry. Like a lot of people hate this culture, where let's say J.J. Abrams is doing a new movie, right? And he's like, I'm gonna need 300 BFX shots of whatever. Let's say another like Star Trek thingy, like an alien character or a ship battling in space, stuff like that. He's gonna go around to the different like studios, to the big studios, ILM, Double Negative, Digital Domain, all of these guys, and they're gonna be like, hey, this is what I need. It's 300 shots of this part of the movie. I need this, this, and this. I'm contacting you guys because you've done that kind of stuff before. How much would that cost me? And that's where studios will do the bidding. They'll be like, okay, we'll charge you again X amount of money. And if they accept, that's great. But the problem comes when after the bidding is done and they start working on the shots and they're like, oh, you know what? We changed something. And now it's not 300 shots. It's 400. Or now this shot that we thought was going to last 10 seconds, it's going to last 40 seconds. And that's when negotiations can get very tricky, because of course the studio needs to charge a little bit more because there's going to be more work involved. But the producers and the directors, they don't want to pay more. And that's where the underbidding or undercutting each other starts happening. And that's how we get to the horrible situation that we sometimes see on the industry, where artists are being overworked and they have to do a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time. That's usually how it works. Still don't get repelled from you after... No, I did answer, Pavan. You asked about the course, right? Oh, no, there you go. What if someone wants to work as a lighting artist for movies? What should his portfolio will look like? Render shots. So you want to grab like a scene or a character, and you want to showcase how would you render that character in different light scenarios, right? So how would the character look on a sunset? How would the character look at nighttime? How would the character look underwater? Like things like that. And if you play with lights and if you play with all of those elements, you're going to be able to showcase your skills as a lighter. Proof render shall be in yes, full HD as well. What is the meaning of price pool? Price pool means that in total, all of the prices that we are giving total that amount of money. So we have 2 grand prize winners of $250 gift card plus the course. And then we have 3 more winners of a course plus the private session. So if you combine the cost or the value of all of those prices, it goes up to $1,000. What's up, Sabim Elmil Limbro? Did you see the Bethesda format union? Yes, I did. So that's something that's happening more and more in the industry, and I think it's good news. Which is we are getting, well, we are not like I'm not getting unionized, but there are several studios that are getting unions. And unions are a way. There's some bad unions out there, unfortunately, but there's some really good unions. And unions are a very good way to protect the rights of the workers, right? I know we always have this, like, view of, oh, industries and the corporate greed and all that stuff, but it is needed to move forward in this capitalistic society. So ideally, in an ideal world, there will be happy, company owners and happy workers as well. So unions are a good way to try to bridge that gap and give more rights to the employers. So yeah. In future contests, the prize should be a job in the industry. That's pretty cool. We might, you know what? It might not be a bad idea to try and see if we can find some way to get some links to the industry. Because I know there's some like summer programs and internship programs, and those are usually offered to schools. But now, since we're sort of like an educational channel, an educational community, we might be able to reach out to maybe a couple of students. I don't know. I'm not promising anything, but something worth exploring, I think. We might be able to get some opportunities that way. Does your creature have to be a full body dupe? Yes, I do recommend a full body creature, and the reason is a lot of people will be doing full body creatures. You can actually jump on the Discord channel right now and see some of the stuff that people are doing, which is pretty cool. And you're gonna see that most of them are doing full body creatures. So I do recommend you do that. Zbrush is not the hard surface way. Which brush I need for a hard surface model mostly? Oh, you're gonna be using quite a bit of Trim Dynamic polish. You're gonna be using C Modeler quite a bit, and yeah. I mean, you can do hard surface in Zbrush. I normally do my hard surface stuff in other softwares like Maya or Blender, but Zbrush, it's possible to do it. It just requires a lot of cleanup, and I feel like, especially since I have or I've been doing other type of 3D in other softwares, I feel like I can do that a little bit faster inside of other softwares. Yes, we'll have another portfolio review on October, man. Trim Dynamic, Crease, Simuler. Yep, that's gonna give you some nice details. Question regarding Zbrush. What's your take on Zbrush tablet versus PC? That's a great question. If you can afford the PC version, and if you can afford a PC and all the setup that's required to be able to sculpt with Zbrush in PC, that's of course the way to go. However, Zbrush for iPad is extremely strong. I'm gonna have more news about that one very soon. But yeah, it's a really good alternative. So if you're like, hey, I already have an iPad, or I plan on buying an iPad for other things, and I want to give it a shot to Zbrush, I think it's $10 a month. Amazing, like amazing. You can do so many things with it. So many things. I didn't answer your question. You guys, just be a little bit more. I'll be happy to answer questions, but try not to be as rude, okay? Text can lose a lot of context. Let's say, if high poly geometry is mostly used in cinematics and optimized geometry in games, why not use optimized geometry in cinematics? Because it won't look as good. That's pretty much the answer, my friend. It won't look as good. So when you have a very high poly character, the silhouette looks very nice, the deformations look very nice. When you bend the character's skin, they look very nice. So it can be, it will definitely look better if you do it in cinematic. Okay, that's the main reason why we don't do optimized geometry. And it's optimized. You do optimize, but you optimize for a different type of pipeline. That's the main answer. Thanks for the follow, Nabi. Thank you. Becker Draw says, I'm learning with the iPad. Yep. That's a great way to do it. I'm down to work for Avlo. Mexico has some of the best tacos. There you go. Yeah, the problem with like hiring people is that you need to have all of the resource to pay for all of the things that you need. That's why this is a tricky industry, guys, because again, I know that we get mad at like the executives making stupid decisions with the design of games and things like that. Guff Concord. But the thing is, it's a tricky situation. Like, I don't blame the guys because there's a lot of money on the line. So there's definitely difficult decisions that have to be made. Right, Georgie? Is a 500 words large description just need to be a JPEG with text? No, you're gonna add that text. I mean, that's a good thing. We might need to clarify that on the contest. The idea is for you to add the text on the actual like submission post. Let's see how people want to use for practicing 3D when they can wait 5 minutes for their yeah, right. I've never touched that side of Zbrush. Yeah, it really depends. Can I use a concept that I already have? I was preparing an RPG campaign and created the idea of an entity I was planning. If this is your own idea, Sebem, yes. If this is a concept that you grabbed from someone else, then I might advise you to do your own idea instead. Okay, now for the snake thing, I was thinking about doing like a dragon belly. So it's gonna be a little bit sharper on the inside. And I do have some brushes, I think. I was pretty sure I had some alphas. Now I can't find them. Oh, you know where they are? They're in Zbrush 2024. Give me 1 second. Software. Zbrush 2024. Alphas. There we go. Control C. Zbrush 2025. Alphas. Control B. Oh, that's a good song. Recruiting people in Italy is a nightmare. Why? I've seen a lot of really good, like, Italian artists. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. Let's isolate this. There we go. Let's increase the intensity a little bit. We're gonna use this as a base, of course. Like, that doesn't mean that this is gonna be the final, like, belly. I just want to have a little bit of a guide, right? What's your favorite movie? Movies. Oh, that's a good question. See, I don't like watching movies as much. I prefer to play games, to be honest. My wife really likes to watch like series and movies, but I don't have the patience. I think it's my ADHD there, like hitting. Let's see. Do you have any tips, videos, or articles recommending for vehicle texturing? No, I don't do vehicles as much, to be honest. I don't think I have, but there should be someone out there on YouTube doing similar things. There we go. The one thing I did not get about the contest is, will we create a new creature from imagination? Yes, that's the main point of the contest, Wizard Grun, to create your own creature. So I don't really want to see a Chupacabra, or I don't really want to see... I mean, it can be your version of the Chupacabra. It can be your version of the, I don't know, the Loch Ness Monster. It can be your version of a gremlin or of a goblin, right? But it needs to be original. We're pushing for originality in this design, in this contest. Yeah, Zbrush alphas are... I know people have a little bit of a fear of using them sometimes because it feels like cheating. But they're just tools. Like, I could do those scales, like, manually. Again, clay buildup, name and standard, all that stuff. So I'm just using this alpha to give me a little bit of a better help right there. Would putting a snake head at the tip of the tail will be weird? Yeah, I think it will be weird. There's a very interesting design principle, Wilden, that says... Or no, that was not Wilden. Who was that? Metal Gear. There's a very interesting design principle that says less is more. So sometimes you don't want to add too much stuff because it becomes very difficult to appreciate all of the other things that you did. So it's very, very important to do that, okay? So always think about whether the element that you are trying to add will help or will it hurt. And that'll give you a good idea of whether or not it should be there. Let's see... Thanks for the sub, Lepulk. Thank you very much. Don't know about Burma, but I got to uni in London, Ravensbourne, and I can pretty much guarantee you 20-30 people in my class don't have portfolio or CBB, which is so concerning. It makes you think they don't care about what they're studying, which is just weird. Yeah, dude, I went to Neumann, and even though Neumann is one of the top schools in the world for 3D, I had, like, peers there. I don't think I would call them friends, to be honest, that didn't do the homework, arrived late to class, didn't pay attention. Like, I don't know what they were doing there, to be honest. Like, dude, like, if you wanna if you wanna waste money, just give it to me. Because they were not doing anything, really. I mean, to each their own, I guess. I'm sculpting a local folklore creature that I never sculpted before, only painted once, so it's all mine. Nice! Nice. Where's a good place to find alphas? ArtStation has a bunch of alphas for sale. And sometimes the investment is worth, like this ones that I just used, the snake ones. Those are ones that I got from ArtStation. You can also try Gumroad. There's a bunch of like people on Gumroad selling their stuff. And just online, just look for, I don't know, Bark Alphas, Skein Alphas, Scale Alphas, Monster Alphas. You're gonna find a bunch of things. I discovered your channel yesterday thanks to the contest, and I saw you do a lot of portfolio reviews. I wonder how you pick the portfolios. Oh, that's a great question, Clement. And welcome to the team, by the way. See, it always surprises me because I've been doing this for a long time, and I know we haven't reached everyone in the world, right? But finding new people every day is so fun. So we do portfolio reviews every month. You need to submit your portfolio link on ArtStation. We open a specific channel in our ArtStation called Portfolio Review Submissions, and we're changing rules a little bit nowadays because we're getting way too many submissions. So you can only submit every other month or every 2 or 3 months. You need to have at least a year working on 3D so that we see good stuff in your portfolio, because we were getting some portfolios that were a little bit on the like newbie side of things, and there's not much information I can give you that I haven't mentioned on the YouTube channel. So yeah, just join the Discord channel and stay on the lookout for when we open the new submissions. We're probably going to be opening them in the next couple of weeks. They're going to be open until they filled, and we're only going to be accepting. What was it, David? Is it 30 or 35 that we were gonna accept? Because we were doing some counting, and we want to make sure everyone gets a fair share of time on the reviews. What's your advice for keeping focus when working for long times of projects? Discipline. Discipline is the secret. Because there's no, like, motivation is really good when you have it and when you're feeling inspired, when you're in the zone. That's freaking amazing. But unfortunately, it's very difficult to be in that state of mind every single time. So you gotta enjoy the process. We talked about this in one of the recent shorts, and you gotta be disciplined. So just push, just keep pushing, keep doing it. For instance, this one right here, right? Like, it's not gonna change too much from what we originally had at the beginning of the session, and you can even see it right now. But it's part of the process. A lot of people find a lot of joy on the early stages when they're doing like the basic forms and things like that. So last stream we did this, and right now you might not see too much of a difference between this and this one, right? Like, it's fairly similar. We're just polishing at this point, but we are moving forward. So those small changes will add up and will make it so that this creature looks very nice at the end. But that's the part that a lot of people sometimes struggle with, because they feel like they're not moving fast enough for something, and it's just part of the process, okay? Let's see. Nanite skeletal meshes. Wait, are they coming? What do you mean, Zephyrus Prime? Did they announce that we're now gonna have nanite skeletal meshes? Bobsy! Saludos, mi estimado chilango. I have a lot of family. My mom is actually from Mexico City. Right now we have a cousin here living with us. He's from Mexico City as well. You're unable to join our Discord? Shatterbrains? That's weird. We'll check that. There's a little bit of a wait room. So if you just joined the link, you will be in something called the wait room, and then you'll get approved. It's a little bit of a filter that we have there. Oh, interesting, Zephyrus. I did not see that. I saw the light thing that they announced that looked very, very cool. Skeletal nanite meshes. Oh, God. I mean, that sounds very cool, but at the same time, it sounds very scary, because now everyone's gonna think that they can just have, like, the most, like, shitty topology and shitty things because of nanite skeletal meshes. Oh, man, that's gonna be interesting. Who's your favorite traditional non-digital sculptor? I have a couple one, but a modern one is, his name is, I think it's Richard McDonald. Sculpture? Is it Richard? Yeah, it's Richard McDonald. Like, if I had enough money to buy one of his sculpts, because I'm sure they're going to be, like, super pricey, I would buy one. It's so amazing, man. So fucking good. Like, look at the silhouette. Look at the gesture. Look at the energy that these sculpts have. So, so good. He did this series, which is all about, like, the circus, like, Cirque du Soleil stuff kind of things. It's really good. So, modern one, this guy right here, Richard McDonald. Amazing one. Let's go to the next one. I don't like the jinx on. Diego Rui, ciao, Diego, ciao. Greetings all the way to Italy. Okay, I'm debating what to do with this hand, but I think we're gonna do a traditional hand, to be honest. So let's delete that hand. And I'm gonna use an insert mesh. What do you think about the collectibles industry? Oh, it's a really good one. I'm surprised, to be honest, by how much money people are willing to spend on that. It's like the, have you guys seen, like, the, I mentioned this last stream, the Pokemon cards industry? Like, people go crazy for those things. I could never see myself buying Pokemon cards. I did buy a couple some years ago just for fun, but there's people that go really deep into that sort of stuff, and it's just like, it's impressive that there's industry for that kind of things. So the collectibles industry, totally valid industry, totally valid. Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a monster head here. There we go. I want to buy a screen pen tablet. Which one do you suggest? The best one that I found for this year, it's this one. It's the Huion Canvas 13. You can go, of course, a little bit bigger, but that one's really, really good. It's a 2.5K resolution screen. There's a review on the channel, by the way, if you want to check it out as well. And that one really works. Like, I really like that one. Nabi Shirvani, oh man, you guys ask the funniest questions. It's like if you asked a game developer, what do you think about pirating games? I understand. Here's my thought, Navi. I understand that, especially when you're a student, when you're starting this career, money can be tight, and buying a course can be like, oh, I can't buy it. Here's what I would do, like if I was in your position. If you need to pirate my course, any course, and you want to do it, I mean, who's going to stop you, right? Go for it. But if then you find success thanks to that course, be it either like you see that your skills have improved, you find a job, you get a job or something like that, try to find a way to give back to whoever it was. And I'm not just talking about me, it could be anyone. Try to find a way to give back to that person. Maybe a shout out to their course on your social medias. Be like, hey, this dude created a course and it's really good. I just took it and it's amazing, even if you pirated it. Or sharing his content, right? Later on, giving a donation or something like that. That kind of stuff is one way in which you could like make it up, right? To whoever it's doing it. Because again, I understand. I've been there. Like I'm guilty as well. But I always try to give back in a way, right? A Morning Star hand. Yeah, it could be a hand that like switches or transforms. That would be interesting. Quick question, what do you do if you want to add a lot of detail to the character face but can't separate the head from the body because the division between the subtitles would show? Series mesh projection. You could try doing series mesh projection so that you have more room to work. Sculptures might be another option to do that as well. But it's normal to push the limits of your geometry like really, really high. So, yeah. Shutterbrains, what's up, man? I heard you talk about saving your work in Zbrush as tools rather than a project. Can you delve deeper on that? Some of my projects get so big it takes a long time to look. Yeah, so for instance, right now, This project that I'm working on has two tools. I have this base abomination, that was the first one that we did, and this second one. So if I save this as a document, if I go here and save this as a project, it's gonna save both of them, and that's why it becomes heavy. If you're doing live booleans and you get a lot of what's the word? A lot of like meshes and things like that here on your tools, all of those tools get saved on the project. That's why projects get really heavy. If you save the tool, only the active tool that you're working on will be saved. Some of the costs for these programs are insane, but some are very affordable. Yes, and one thing that I've been doing recently in some of the programs that I really like is this pay-to-own stuff. So, for instance, I started paying for my 3D Code Textura license like in February, I think. And I think next month I'm going to finish the payment plan, and I'm going to own the software. Yes, you're not going to have updates for life. I think you get like 1 year of updates, and then you need to pay again a little bit of a difference again to get the next update, but it's a very fair pricing policy, I would say, similar to what they do with Marmoset. Like, I bought Marmoset for, I don't know, in 2016 or something like that, 2018. When it came out, I bought it, and I've been using and benefiting from it for a long time. So when the new one comes out, I'm sure they're gonna offer some sort of like a discount to those of us who have like a Marmoset 4, and I'll buy it because I know I'm gonna be using it. So whenever you invest in a software, or whenever you invest in a tool, you always gotta see that sort of like benefit, right? Like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. My brother and I were preparing for Monster Hunter Wilds, right? It's coming out next year, and they announced that the requirements are gonna be a little bit on the heavy side, so he doesn't have a very strong GPU. And I told him, hey, you might need to buy a new GPU if you want to play. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna see what I can buy. If I had to update mine is a 3080 Ti. I might need to get like a 4090 or something like that, or like 4080. But I know I can recover that investment. Like, I can justify that investment, not only for games, but also for my work, because I use it for work. He can't. Like, he can't really justify buying a 4090 or a 4080 because he doesn't do 3D. So you always need to think about the tools and how much you're going to be able to get out of that tool. And same for the softwares. Let's see. Teaching is a lot of work. Very satisfying, but yeah. Teaching, I mentioned this before. I didn't think I was going to be a teacher. Like, if you go back 10 years and you ask young Abe, hey, what do you want to do? I would never say teaching. Teaching is something that I found along the way. I got the opportunity. Someone invited me to try it. I did it. I realized I liked it. Students were telling me I was good at teaching. You guys might tell me your, what's the word? You might tell me your opinion about that, whether I'm a good teacher or not. I've heard good things. I've also heard, of course, critiques, and I always try to fix the things that can be fixed. But yeah, but like, I was not imagining to be a teacher. And that's another one of the things that I always tell you guys. Keep your mind open, because you might find a niche or a specific thing in this 3D world, in the world in general. You're like, damn, I never imagined I was going to be doing this, and now you are. Oh, thank you, Chilaki, thank you. See, one thing that I do miss is I miss teaching on a classroom, because lately I've been doing a lot of teaching on the online. So, of course, with the courses and stuff like that, but some of the universities, they changed to online teaching. So, I do miss being on a classroom, and I think, Chilaki, pretty sure you are who I think you are. I was your teacher on a physical classroom. 100% kind of impossible to invest money at the very beginning in something you aren't sure you want to do. Yes, that's another big one, the hidden. I see your guys are talking about like pricing for softwares and things like that. Best advice is try to get away with as many free trials and as many free softwares or alternate softwares just to see if you like it. And then if you like it, go for it. I'm going to give you an example right now. I was testing Resum UV yesterday, because I wanted to try a couple of tools that Maya didn't have. And I was genuinely surprised, like, oh damn, this is pretty cool. Like, it has some really advanced UV tools that's like very nice. So I haven't bought a license yet, but I'm definitely thinking about doing something like that in the near future, because the tools that I can use with that will definitely make my stuff better. However, I would never ever recommend a new student, someone that's just starting their 3D journey, to buy a Ryzen license. Like, why would you, when you have really good tools inside of Blender and inside of Maya, right? So it's one of those things that that you keep evolving, right? Like you don't start your career with all of the licenses and all of the softwares and everything. You kind of like build up to them, and later on, a couple of years after that, you realize, hey, now I have a bunch of licenses, I have a bunch of softwares, and I know or have a lot of skills. That's cool. That's how you sort of like grow as an artist. That finger's so fucked up. I mean, I kind of like it, to be honest, but at the same time, it looks very weird. What programs did you buy to start with apart from Blender? That's a great question. Maya. So I pay for my Maya. I started paying for my Maya Indie license, which allows me to get full Maya for a year. Zbrush. I bought my Zbrush Perpetual license back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was definitely earlier than that. Probably like 2016 or something. What else? Substance Painter, Marmoset. Those were the programs that I always had. And in the past couple of years, I've been buying or subscribing to more softwares. There's some that you can't buy. So for instance, I really like Marvel's Designer. And what I do is when I have a project that requires it, I'll pay for one of the, like I'll pay for a month of subscription. And then I'll move to the next, like I'll do my work and then I'll cancel the subscription. Same for like Speed 3, same for like some of those. Yeah, as the hidden says, if your desire is strong, you can pretty much find everything on YouTube for free. I think the big advantages of tutorials and courses, and this is not only because I do them, but because I also consume them, is that they have things condensed. So you're gonna find the condensed information, so like the speed run approach to them. So you're gonna be able to get to exactly what you're looking for faster than if you try to sort of like stitch everything together from YouTube videos. But this is basic stuff, right? Like if you're just learning, guys, if you're watching this stream and you're like, oh, this looks cool, what can I do? You can learn the basics of ZBrush, Blender, Maya, all of that stuff directly on YouTube. And we even have videos about that in the channel. Do you think it's bad to have the habit of smoothing all the time? I noticed that you barely use the smoothing. Yes, I would say it can it can damage a lot of your forms, especially on this initial stages when we're just playing with, again, just general things. It will make it so that you have to build them up again and again and again, and that could slow you down. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it's gonna slow you down, I think. So you gotta be... Yeah, like I don't smooth as much. I try to use Trim Dynamic to flatten certain areas. I find that to work a little bit better, and it gives a little bit of a nicer result, I think. Okay, so for the fingers, let's start adding the divisions here. And as you can see, I like working with very low subdivision levels, so I don't push my amount of detail to a high point because it becomes more difficult to manage. So I prefer to work with low subdivision levels, and then as I feel or I see that my forms are looking nice, I start like increasing my levels. That's another one. Andy the Lich there has a good advice. You can use smooth at a lower intensity, so like 30% intensity. That works nice. If corporations are greedy like Adobe, I don't find it wrong to pirate the programs. See, I do agree up to a certain point there, Alan. My issue, or the reason why I also don't pirate anything anymore, is because since I'm streaming and I'm doing like tutorials, like I'm actually making a living out of it. Let's say the right thing to do is, of course, to pay for those tools, right? But for instance, with Adobe, I do have access to a teacher's license that's a little bit cheaper. So that one helps. And one of the other advices I could give you is, if you really feel that heavily against a corporation like Adobe, there's plenty of other options out there. Like if I knew how to use DaVinci Resolve to a really good level, like I know how to use it for basic stuff, but if I know how to do the same things that I do in After Effects, for instance, I would stop using Adobe. I would use Krita for image stuff. I would use DaVinci Resolve for video editing, and I would just like start replacing stuff, because you gotta put your money where your mouth is, right? So we're very good at complaining. I was like, oh, I hate this corporation, but I'm still gonna pirate the software because it's a very good software. So that to me feels a little bit weird. Do you think it's bad to have the I got the Steam version of Substance Painter playing new? Yeah, Yeah, I have the indie version of Substance Painter that gives you access to Substance assets as well, which are pretty nice. Oh, you know what I saw? Oh, I'm gonna copy. I saw an artist recently do this, where they were doing a monster. I don't remember who this artist was. I hope I could remember. I think I saw them on like Instagram, and he merged the pinky finger and the index finger, so they were kind of like blended together. And I thought that was a really cool idea. So let's do that. I just kind of miss the days where you could just buy it down. Yeah, I do miss those days as well. Especially for design, you can live off with your current version. Hey, David, any updates on your environment course? I'm trying to learn environment design and struggling so much. It's postponed, yeah. As David says, it's postponed. I was mentioning last time that I was having a really hard time making sure it flowed nicely. So it's postponed, but it's the next, like, I have a course coming next week. I was going to ask you, David, how much should we spoil them? Should we tell them a little bit, or should we just keep it as a surprise about the next course? But it's releasing next week. So it's going to be a cool course. I think you guys are going to like it. And then after that, I go back to the drawing table and push for the environment course. It's giving you that space vibes. Yeah, it has a little bit of that inspiration. Yeah, but it's coming soon, Zoe. It's coming soon. I'm definitely struggling a little bit with the. It's not creative block. It's more like a teacher's block where I want to make sure I include all the information, but I want to do it in a way that makes sense. Because if I just like pour that information out and it doesn't flow nicely, people are not going to finish the course. That was my main concern with the previous iteration of the course, that I felt it was way too much information, way too much time, and it's like people are not going to watch this. They're going to get bored, they're going to get tired, and they're going to like I'm out. I don't want to do it anymore. And I want to make sure it's a good experience for everyone. No, the course that's coming next week is not Maya inspired, but the environment course is Maya inspired. Yes, Hudson, the environment course will have theme shift, and we will have vertex painting as well. We talk about nanite, we talk about modular buildings, foliage. We're gonna have a little bit of speed tree in there, so it's a little bit of everything, and that's what was making it tricky. Yeah, the Maya environment course is or the environment course is definitely Maya. But you can apply all that to Blender as well. So if you guys are Blender users, it's fairly easy. It's nothing too fancy. Yeah, I think it was Jared Chavez. Probably, who did this like finger merging. It was really good. It's like, oh, that's cool. Would you ever consider using a? I have my laptop. I have a laptop. Like this right now, this setup that I have right now, this is my formal setup. But back in my house, well, downstairs on my house, I have a little like studio where I work when I do all the emails and things like that sometimes. And I have my laptop and I have another pen display there as well. So I work there all the time. No issues at all. And it's not even like a super powerful laptop. Like we got this laptop in 2020, I think, so like 4 years ago. It's a 4-year-old laptop, and I can still do 3D code, Zbrush, Maya, Blender, everything. I have a story. Actually, oh man, David, you're gonna kill me for this. You're gonna kill me for this, but let me share the idea, and if it doesn't sound like a good idea, you will stop me and I won't do it. But I wrote a little story, a short story. And this short story is what's inspiring me to do the environment that we're going to do for the environment course. And I'm thinking about sharing the story right now. I'm going to read it to you because I have it on my phone. I literally wrote it there. I think it's a relatively good story. And it should give you the vibes of what we're going for. Okay? So I'm going to read the story, but I don't want to make a promise that that's going to be the exact story that we're going to be using for the course, okay? Let's go. But we got to set the mood, because it's a little bit of It's a little bit of a spooky story, so let's set up the mood. Give me 1 second. One second, guys. 1 second. There we go. There we go. We're gonna go a little bit darker today. So, let's have. Should we add? Oh, I'm. This part is probably gonna be. What's the word? It's probably gonna be. We're gonna get like a copyright claim. It sucks. Because I want to find a sort of like a spooky song. Maybe I can do it. Let's see. I think his name is Michael Gelfi. Yeah, Michael. Oh, let's see. D&D Mysterious. Let's see if we find something. Yeah, we're probably gonna get again the copyright warning on this song, but at least we're gonna enjoy it here on the live. Spooky song, no copyright. Nah, let's do it. Let's do. There we go. Oh, now there we go. Now we're talking. Okay, so this is a story that came up about, you know, a fantasy world. And it's a short story. Let's go. Let's see how my narration goes now. The hollow echoes of the crypt were different tonight. There was a faint sound coming from the top. The slopey dragging of uneven steps bounced on the old mossy walls. Some slurred words accompanied those old leather boots as they moved down the ancient steps. I will show the you'll call me the brave. And the might doesn't stop. Bill the brave is not afraid of a curse of old. This is just an old abandoned crypt filled with bones and rats. The words of Bill echoed as he stepped deeper into the old crypt, ignoring the faint warnings happening around him. He didn't see the old glyphs faintly glowing as he entered the construction, or the crumbling sound of the stone moving in the depths of this crypt. Those just seemed part of the old masonry playing tricks on him. Even the rats squeaking and running towards the outside did little to stop this drunken man from continuing forward. If they think that old myth was gonna scare the shit out of me, they might as well just pay already and be over with this, he said as he approached the end of some stairs. Bill stood confused, in the middle of what appeared to be the resting place of the Lady of the Moor, an old legend of Bridgefall. The old rhymes and songs told of a lady who could not bear the loss of his man and drowned himself in the moor while holding the sword he had wielded in his last battle. It is said that the body was perfectly preserved and found years later. It was put to rest in this old crypt, alone, waiting for a day that will never come. A day when his beloved husband will return to embrace her one last time. Legends tell of a faint voice coming from the crypt, almost like whispers, and the sound of a blade being polished. Your blade will always be sharp, my dear. It won't fail you again. Those were the words that One-Eyed Tom Sword he heard that night. He was pale as a ghost as he shared the events with his gang of old grizzled workers. They all laughed at him. A ghost story would not impress us or scare anyone, even less if it came from Tom. Bill, of course, was not only skeptical, but also annoyed. Too many times has he heard about those stories, and each and every time he called bull on the teller. But he was more than half drunk that night. And this time, hearing the story was more than enough to make him bet that he could go get that sword. I'll get that sword and shove it out your ass, Tom, if that's what I need to do to take that stupid story out of your head and shut you for good, he said while standing up, shoving Tom aside and walking out. However, Now, in the middle of the crypt, and with the booze leaving his body, he wasn't feeling as confident. "Fuck me, I can't see a damn thing," he said while squinting, trying to make out the dark silhouettes around him. The crypt was darker than a moonless night, only a few rays of light shining through some cracks in the ceiling. In the middle of the room lay an open tomb. The top slab rested against the side. The inside of the tomb was outlined by the faint moonlight. Or at least, that is what Bill was able to perceive. He approached slowly, with less bravery than what he originally thought he had. Inside, there was nothing. Confusion appeared first in Bill's numb, drunken mind, followed by curiosity, then anger. "I'm going to get that fool Seth. I know you're there. You thought you could fool me, huh? Think better. Old Bill's no one's fool." No one was there to hear him. At least, no one of the living kind. There was a sudden feeling of coldness around Bill, as if the room itself was transported to the second circle of hell. If he could share what happened there, he might have been able to say that he heard a metal blade being dragged through the floor of the old crypt. He might have shared that he felt a cold, sharp pain run through his neck. And maybe, just maybe, he might have said he saw the deep green sorrowful eyes of the Lady of the Moor, as his head rolled and rested by her cold, undead feet. That's it, guys! That's the little story. I call that little story Lady of the Moor, of course. A moor is this like sort of swamp in the middle of a forest. What do you think? Do you like that one? Not bad, right? Not bad. The subtle Mexican accent sells the magic. Give me 1 second. Bring the lights back on. There we go. Am I a DM? Yes, I am a DM. Let's go. So that story, because I was thinking that one thing that I failed to do on the first iteration of the course. So let's go back to our... Not that one. To Spotify song. To the D&D, to the League of Legends one. No. League of Legends creator. There we go. So the first thing that that I realized about the course, or one of the things that I realized about the course, that's too low, is that I was missing that. I was missing a good inspiration or a good sort of like background to the story. And I said, hey, let's really nail down what the story is going to be, and then let's build the course around it, right? So the current idea for the course is to do that, to do the little graveyard or the crypt where the Lady of the Moor lives. So it's definitely going to be this sort of like spooky, medieval, gothic fantasy like setting. Because everyone does like fantasy villages and things like that, so I also wanted to do something a little bit more unique. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Be interesting to see a level from that, Casey Forster. Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna be an interesting take on the whole thing. There we go. Can you use Blender instead of Zbrush for sculpting the assets and textures? What do you mean, Hudson? For the new or for that course or for the contest? Yes, we're going to be using Zbrush quite a bit. So it's going to be Maya for the setup, Zbrush for the like creation of all of the high poly assets, Substance Painter. We might use a little bit of Substance Designer or Substance Sampler as well. We're going to be using Unreal. Yes, it'll be modular, so we're going to talk about modularity and how to optimize the assets for games, all that stuff. And yeah, so that's the plan. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the idea in general? Let's see what happened to Bill there down at the crypt. Nice. Well, I'm glad you guys like the story. You guys just heard my first official story. I normally don't share the stories that I write. I always write stories or think about the ideas. But that thing that you just like listen to, that's my actual like first time that I actually sat down and wrote the story out, not just planned the ideas, but actually like wrote the story. Writing books or reading books has always been one of my passions as well. I really like reading, and I thought, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's write something. Add that story to the trailer. Yeah, that could probably be like the background narration, right? I think that could work. Yes, Cabinet of Curiosities was definitely inspired, you know, Guillermo del Toro. Yes, of course, we're storytellers, Alan, but it's a different thing. That's very interesting. It's a different thing to be a storyteller through our art, right? Through our sculptures, through our textures and things like that, that to actually write the story. Like, it took me a couple of days to really polish that down, and I'm sure it could be polished even further on the, what's the word? On the actual, like, writing. But I was looking at some of, like, Brandon Sanderson's lectures on how to write a story. It's like, okay, let's try it. I mean, might as well... There's the sneeze. Might as well try it and see if I can get something that looks cool or works. Hey Abe, do you have any advice how to sculpt details or do separation in the muscle forms without it looking too extreme? I've been using them external lines look. Yeah, what I like to do, Paulitos, and we covered this on the anatomy course, is we do that, and then I like to go over with a small pass of clay buildup with a soft brush to sort of like fill in the gaps and generate something that looks a little bit more natural, as you said. Because yes, the Damien standard, like let's say pectoral muscle, right? So the pectoral muscle has a couple of fibers that they go towards the arm like this, but if we just leave them like that, they look very bad, and if we smooth them out, we lose all of that like cool intensity. So the first thing I recommend is change your alpha to a round alpha, like alpha 12. That's going to give you softer forms so that you can create the muscle fibers without them looking like obnoxiously intense. And once you have this, you go with the Damien standard or with the Zbrush. Where's the Zbrush? Well, we're using that one as well. You go with any of these brushes that are a little bit sharper. And yes, you add all of the fibers going to the direction of the muscle. See that? So we go there. There we go. And once you have a good form, you go back to clay buildup and you very softly fill in the gaps a little bit to blend those lines so they're not as intense. Okay? That's what I would do. And you get this very nice, sort of like natural looking folds and flaps and things that will make your character look a little bit more appealing. As you can see, I haven't even like increased the resolution levels. Like this is something that I would do at high resolution levels, to be honest. We're in the low like elements right now, and that's gonna definitely work. Thank you, Beolu. Writing is hard, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's definitely hard. To be honest, I'm surprised about the effect on the reading on 3D. I started to read Legend of Drizzt again after maybe 10 years, and it really hypes me about creating things. Yes, reading, guys. Reading, I think, is one of the strongest things that we can do as humans in general, and for everything. Like, I know we love to read fantasy, but if you read about psychology, if you read about philosophy, if you read about history, like, if you read about other things, your mindset will change a lot as well. Like, your mental, like, the way you see things changes you so much. Zbrush is in Zbrush Guide. Yeah, I got it. I downloaded it earlier today. Voxel Forge. Hudson says, hey, if you look a little bit like Guillermo del Toro, that's a... I'm going to take that as an amazing compliment. Guillermo is such a genius. Such a genius. Okay, I definitely like how the silhouette is looking. Here's a little trick for the hands, guys, because hands can be a little bit tricky. With hands, you... especially for like a sculpture that's not going to be like raked or anything, you definitely want to give them a little bit of gesture. And a very common thing is to bend the fingers a little bit. So for instance, I'm going to go to this guy right here, invert the mask, set the pivot point right there, and bend the finger in a little bit, and then mask again, set the pivot point there, bend a little bit, and then mask the next like a part of the finger, set the pivot point right there, and just bend a little bit. Yes, we're going to have to fix a little bit, right? We're going to have to resculpt a couple of areas right here. You don't want to do this all the time. Like, when you're doing things for production, you're not going to be doing this too much, to be honest. Because riggers are going to hate you if you do this. You can do it, but they're going to hate you. And there we go. And that hand's going to look a little bit more interesting. Now, what I like to do is I like to generate a little bit of contrast. So, for instance, this index finger right here, I'm actually going to bend it out. It's kind of like he's going to be doing this or like pose where the index finger is pushing out and the rest of the fingers are pushing in. And that's going to give it an interesting effect. And if you can find time to sit and read, you can listen. Yeah, audiobooks are also great. I like both. So I originally got my iPad to read. And I do read quite a bit on my iPad. But yes, as you mentioned, when there's not enough time, audiobooks are a great alternative as well. And these fingers are way too far apart. I'm gonna bring them closer, and I'm also gonna rotate them in a little bit. How much time we have to wait for the course? I wanna say that's gonna be coming out in November. As I was telling you guys, I'm finishing a course this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, I think this weekend should be finished. And it's gonna be published like next Friday. We're probably gonna announce it. And then I'm gonna start like just working on the environment course. Because now with the story that I just told you, the Lady of the Moor story, I'm also feeling more pumped about the whole like process. Like I think it's gonna be a really good idea. Yes, exactly. That's right, Dicky. It's the fingers resting pose. I recently bought another for closed by Oldest, and it's amazing. Yes, another for sculptors. It's the Bible for us, for us as sculptors. It's really freaking good. Make sure to get that PDF or the physical book. Do we always pose a character like this as we go? No, no, no. This is only because I'm doing this for like a. Of course, I'm not gonna enter the contest, right? But if I was gonna do or enter the contest, this would be like I would just be working for the sculpt. I might 3D print this, to be honest. I might use the Saturn there to 3D print this creature right here. But no, I'm just posing it for the sake of presentation right now. Normally, when you're doing again games, you're not gonna be or any sort of like production thing. You're gonna do A pose or B pose. If a director comes, that's a great question, Comic Legends. If someone comes and says, "Hey, can we see how this character would look with the arms raised?" If it's for production, I'll just like listen to them. I'll obey them, and then I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." But if it's to get a different stuff, like a different field for it, if you're like a concept designer, I'll just start a new file, to be honest. Like, I'll take this one, just duplicate the file, and do another version with the arms, like, raised. There we go. So, see that hand now? Now that looks like a cool hand. This video will be edited. Yes, XBO. I need to edit the video, especially because of the narration that I just did. I need to make sure that the music is working and we don't get any like copyright strike or anything. So this video will be available again on Monday at our usual time. It usually is available. No, I'm not sure. No, it will be available on Monday. Yeah, because I take it out, or I take it down for a while just to do the edits and clean it up. And then we re-upload it. Dame Stan should be named Dame Stan. Damn Stan. There we go. Will there be a Halloween discount special for the monster course? We don't have a monster course. Do you mean the Oni course, Hudson? What's your best selling course? The Oni? I think it's between the Oni and the Substance Painter course. Those are like some of our high sellers. But all of them, like if you check the website, not everyone leaves a review, but the reviews that we have, they're all very, very positive. So all of them are really good courses, I think. It's just that the fact that I think the Zbrush and the Substance are more aimed towards someone that's just starting. So they're good, like, beginner courses. And some of the other ones are a little bit on the, like, intermediate, advanced, like, section. Like, not everyone's going to be, like, learning about Marvel's Designer, right? Because it's, again, a little bit more of an advanced... It's not an advanced course, but it's not something that everyone will be using at first. Same for the retopology guide. I'm really proud about the retopology guide, by the way. Like, that's one of my favorite courses that I did, to be honest. I'm really liking how this hand is looking. Very monstery, I think. Oh, it's a hint. There should be a monster course. Yeah, right? We do have one on the... Like, it's not coming soon, but there's plans to do a creature course, like a kaiju, like a big kaiju, and do it for live action. So, Mari, Zbrush, a little bit of Nuke, maybe, to do, like, the post-production. So, do a creature, and then insert it into a live plate. So, maybe next year we'll do something like that. San, what's up? Can we follow along? Just find the only course with tablet version of Zbrush. Flip kits, yes! But you might want to wait a couple of days. I might have a little bit of something cooking. But yes, you can follow it except for the part of C-Modeler. The C-Modeler stuff, there's no C-Modeler brush on Zbrush for iPad. So unfortunately, those things you won't be able to do. You could try doing them traditional, like just sculpt them traditionally, like the armor pieces and all that stuff. But most of the other things should be able to be transferable. Add the total hours to your thumbnail course on your site. You mean, because we do have it... That's a good feedback. We do have the total hours on the... When you click on the course. So for instance, if you click here on the anatomy for 3D print course, and you go down here, it does says 19 hours of content, right? For the anatomy course. But do you mean having that, like here? Kevin Bowens, any chance at getting an advanced substance course? Have you seen this one already? The Substance Painter from Beginner to Master? Because I do think I covered like some advanced stuff in there. Like it's not just like, hey, this is the interface, this is a mask, this is a generator. Like we go like quite in depth on how to use Substance. If there are things that you feel might be missing from that course, let me know. And yeah, maybe like a more advanced course could happen. Yeah, I don't think it allows me to add that information, Hudson. I saw Substance Painter course on stream for around $100, and I think I'll be buying it to take your course. I saw Substance Painter on stream for around... On Steam, yeah, on Steam, yes. Yes, you can buy like, just make sure you buy, like, a 2024 version of Substance. Because there are some tools that we're not using theirs. Yes, the 19 hours on the dynamic course will make the price more worth it. Yeah, we can try that. I really don't like this thumb. I don't know why, but I feel like it looks weird. I think it's the angle. Did I get scared for a moment? I always look at my hand as well when I'm sculpting, especially hands. Like, since if we have the reference right here, might as well use it, right? So fingers have this like taper effect going on as they go further down. Yeah, I thought he was like, well, what stream? Who's charging $100 for a stream? That was like weird. Why Mari and Nuke, not the alternative programs? Interesting why you picked those specifically. So Mari and Nuke are used a little bit more on the film industry. And my area of expertise has been the game industry. So that's why I normally gravitate towards like Unreal Engine and Substance Painter. They're really good ones. They're really, really good ones. Like really powerful softwares. I knew Mari. I don't know it anymore. I need to relearn some of the stuff because I haven't used it in years. But they're very, very powerful softwares. It's just that they're more, again, more focused towards other types of pipelines. Oh, okay, Kevin. Yeah, no, we can definitely add more stuff later on with like a different course. There's not much... Like, all of the tools that I could possibly share about Substance would be constructed on top of the things that we already seen. So it's more about, like, learning how to do more advanced things like layers and smart materials and things like that. But yeah, we can definitely look into that for the future. Okay. Hands are wonderfully difficult and beautiful. Yeah, hands are one of those like tricky things. And on this side, like I'm not sure what I want to do because they're looking a little bit weird, like hooks and stuff. But we need to make sense of it, so we need to follow a little bit of the anatomy. Just a little bit more detail here. Question about 3D printing, Ave. What would you get if you want to start 3D printing? And where would you set up the station if you don't have a separate room where you can use the printer? If you don't have a separate room, I would recommend maybe starting with filament 3D printing. Because even though it has fumes when it melts the plastics, PLA is not as intense as like resin 3D printing and alcohol and stuff like that. So a filament 3D printer might be a good way to start. Mari Nuke can get really expensive. Yeah, that's another thing. Have you used your 3D printer? Yes, of course, man. Like, all of these little figures right here. I 3D printed all that stuff. Duncan, up there, it's also been 3D printed as well. So yeah, I use 3D printing a lot. How to use a mask created from paint on Substance Painter. As you know, we always create a black mask. So how to use the result of that black mask for other things. You right-click on the mask, and you export that as a bitmap. And then you use that mask wherever you want. So literally just right click on the mask and then there's going to be an option there that says export as bitmap and it's going to export a JPEG or a PNG or whatever and that's it. You can use that mask as a subsurface scattering mask, as an opacity mask, as a whatever mask. Like there's so many things that you can do. Hey Royo, what's up my friend? Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. There we go. Yeah, I like this. So this is what we had at the beginning of the session. This is what we have now. As you can see, again, there's not a lot of things going on, but it's definitely like being polished, right? Now this would be a good point maybe to join the tail and the body. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna push the body up. Oh. Where is it? Hey, why is it not letting me? There we go. And I'm just gonna say merge and merge down. There we go. So now the tail and the body are gonna be combined. It's just Dynamesh. There we go. Is it easier to work if they're not? Isn't it easier to work? Yes, but right now here I want to do the actual like merging. And to do that, it's going to be a little bit easier to... So I got to do like some sort of like scarring tissue. And to do that, I feel like I'm going to be able to do it a little bit easier if I just like merge them together. You know what I mean? So certain things, I would keep them separate. And other things, I'll keep them together. Again, since this is a creature that I'm doing, or a sculpt that I'm doing for presentation, right? Like I'm not going to... I don't think I'm gonna do the full like production pipeline for this character. It doesn't really matter. Like whatever works for you, it works. Have you used Procreate on the app? Yes, I use it all the time. Yes, I'm not an illustrator, to be honest. Like I know how to paint, I know how to draw, but I'm not that good. these little guys right there, easiest way to fix them is just inflate. And they're gonna be merged together, and then you can clean them up. Hey, do you consider photo mode in video games as a good way to improve your composition? Yeah, actually, I don't use it as much. When I play games, I just want to play games. But I know some people get like really into like creating some nice pictures. Yes, it's definitely a good way to practice. It's pretty much like taking a camera in the real world and doing compositions. So yeah, that would definitely be a good exercise. Yes, exactly. For UVs and texturing, even retopo and things like that, keeping them separate is definitely the way to go. But again, for just like 3D printing or sculpting and things like that, this should be more than enough. Procreate for 3D. I've used it to do a little bit of like hand-painted stuff, because you can like bring in elements. And it does have like a PBR thing where you can paint roughness and metalness. I don't think it's the way to go, to be honest. I don't think it's as efficient as doing it in other softwares, but it's not a bad option, right? Like, it could work. Where can we use fiber mesh outside of serials like Maya? Yeah, so the thing with fiber mesh is that fiber mesh are polygons. I've seen some workflows where people create fiber mesh and then they use those to generate the guides for Action, for instance. I don't like that. I find it just like redundant. Like, if you're gonna do guides, might as well just do them inside of Action already. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of fiber mesh, to be honest. I mean, it's a cool tool, and I've seen people do cool stuff with it. I don't like it, but that's personal preference, to be honest. Is that a Naga? It's definitely inspired by Nagas, yeah. So it has a little bit of like Naga inspiration, I'm not gonna lie. But it's not specifically a Naga. It's an ape abomination. Have you seen Gabriel character from Dan Luvisi? It would be great to make it in 3D and print it. Gabriel character Dan Luvisi. This one? Character from my book LMS. Yeah, it's cool. This is not my thing. Like, if you give me the chance to play fantasy or sci-fi and play some more realistic stuff, I always choose fantasy over this kind of stuff. But yeah, this is definitely cool. Not bad. Your live sessions all have high engagement. Whatever you're doing, it's working. I always follow live streams for 3 channels and it's not as active as I keep up. Thank you, Mr. J. Well, we've been grinding. We've been grinding for a long time now. We've been doing this for several months, years even. And I always try to chat and answer questions. I really don't have, like, if you ask me what's the secret, I really don't know. I just do what I like and talk about what I like, and that seems to be working, so we'll keep doing it. Yeah. I think it's just fun. It's always fun to be part of a community that shares your same interests. And that always brings like good conversation. Like, you guys learn, I learn, because you guys talk about the really interesting things. And as long as we keep things cordial and fun, I think. Any chance for Action specific course in the future? I thought about it. That's why we have several Action videos here on the channel. We've done Action on live streams. We've done Action on the on videos. So I don't do a lot of Action. Because again, for games, we do mostly hair cards. So I would need to, again, like, gather some good information and good reference to make sure that I can offer something that's valuable for everyone. And I think that's been one of, like, if you ask me about my secrets, I think that's one of my secrets. I try to be, like, well, not try to be. I am as honest as I can about the stuff that I teach. And I don't like teaching things that I don't either use too much or know too much about. It just feels dishonest. That's why you're not gonna see, for instance, a car modeling tutorial from me, because I've only modeled one car in my life. It's on my portfolio, and I don't want to do it again. So you're not gonna find a car tutorial from me. I don't know if you've talked about it or if you're well in the context. What's the story behind that character? This character right here. So this character, we were talking about this last stream, and I was like, hey, what if Ave, because this is a head, like it's a 3D scan of me. What if Ave got like transported to a different universe and in the process became a monster, right? Like an abomination. And I was following the little like thing from the monkeys, like don't say, don't hear, don't tell. And it's the same thing. So this head right here only sees, those are the eyes. This one only speaks, and this one only hears. So this is the one that has the actual ears. That's a little mix of that, right? So it's like mixing a couple of those stories. ASBR, what's up, man? Seraphine, might be a bit controversial to be honest, but is there really that much of a benefit in paying for Maya anymore rather than modeling in Blender, for example? No, there's not. And I don't think it's controversial. Like, I would say most of us Maya users know that Maya is not the best modeling software. Where Maya shines is the rigging and animation parts of things. So most studios, I would say like probably like 90% of studios out there will be using Maya to rig and animate, especially again characters and creatures. If you're doing simulation, you're gonna go to Houdini. If you're doing like ads or like advertisement, you're probably gonna be working in Cinema 4D. But if you're gonna be doing animation like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, all that stuff, you're gonna be using Maya. Most studios nowadays are also quite flexible nowadays. So if you're like, hey, I model in Blender and I'll just like export the OBJ or the FBX, most studios will be okay with that. But some of them are very picky about their pipelines, so you might not be able to fit there if you don't do anything else. What was your favorite character mission? Oh, Sigma, I was just reading your message. You can submit it again, man. No worries. Do you find human anatomy easier to sculpt than, say, animal anatomy? No, it's very simple. Or it's very similar. Like, once you understand the principles of anatomy, you can transfer that to any kind of animal. Because pretty much any animal in the animal kingdom has the same principles about muscle structure, bone structure, things like that. Yeah, definitely, Paulitos. Maya has a lot of... It's like Photoshop, right? Like, a lot of people will still use Photoshop because that's what they've been using for such a long time. So changing now is very difficult. But that doesn't mean that it can't be done. Set the eyebrows. This eye I definitely want to have a little bit more exposed. Yeah, 3D Studio Max, no, it's not dead. It's just that it has a very well, not very small, but it has a smaller share of industry presence, I would say, compared to other elements. But there's room for everyone. And I've mentioned this before. I like when there's multiple options because competition breeds or brings innovation. Softwares don't want to stay behind. Like, that's what I would love for Blender, to pick it up on their sculpting like capabilities, because they could compete against Zbrush, and that will push Zbrush to do even like better things. Let's keep that open. If you want to work for picture, then your portfolio should have some kind of... No. I mean, if you want to work as an animator, then of course you should have that. But no. If you want to work for Pixar or DreamWorks, your portfolio should look like a Pixar or DreamWorks portfolio. So cartoon characters, things that are a little bit more, you know, like family oriented, right? Like I wouldn't be able to place this character if I wanted to work for Disney. Like, they're gonna see this as like, what the hell? This is stuff from Nightmares. Like, we could never show this to our audience. So you gotta tailor that thing towards the expectations of the studio. Salam Jess says, Sarn, I think there's a scam at job posting at Discord in case you're a mod there too. Yeah, we're a mod. We're both we're gonna check that out. That's weird. I don't have a paid version of Zbrush. I use cracked version. Can I upload my work in 3D platforms like Artisan by using cracked version? Yes, so Tank, that might not be the kind of stuff that you want to share. Like, if you guys are doing illegal stuff, just don't say it. That's just not very smart. No one's gonna know. Like, if you upload a picture, like, it's pretty much impossible to tell whether or not you were using a pirated version of the software or not. Like, yeah. Like, I guess the only way someone could find out that you're using a pirated version of Zbrush is if you upload the C tool and there's some sort of like hidden code on the C tool or in the C project that people can see and see like, oh, this guy's not paying for a license. I would find that possible. I've never heard of it, to be honest. But again, like big companies know that their software is being pirated. Like, they're not stupid, right? Like, Maxon knows that Zbrush is being pirated. Maya, or Autodesk, knows that Maya is being pirated. Every single big studio knows that their software is being pirated. If you make a huge amount of money out of them and they realize like, hey, who the hell is this guy? You might get in trouble. Otherwise, if you keep your head low, like I'm not gonna name names, but I worked at a studio with over 100 artists and all of the software there was pirated. All of it. And we were using Maya, Zbrush, Photoshop, Substance Painter. Well, not Substance Painter was not available at that time, but they didn't care. Like, the studio heads there didn't care. If Autodesk finds out, or Maxon finds out, like, hey, show me your licenses, and they don't have the licenses to show for, they're gonna get into a big issue. But even 100 people in that studio is still considered to be a small studio. So, yeah. From Chiller and always, thanks for all the tips and advice. Lord Vyron, there you go, my friend. How are you? 100% it's a toxic environment too. What? Do you have any course for whole workflow from Zbrush to render in Maya, including texturing steps? No, JHG. I don't have one like that. You could combine the courses to like mix and match. And the reason why I don't have one like that, it's definitely going to be on the environment course because we're going to have to cover that. But it's because it becomes a very long course. And we've gotten feedback that people prefer to have like smaller courses, like 10 hours, 20-hour courses. Imagine if I offered an 80-hour course with like the full character pipeline. I'm sure that people might buy it. It would need to be a higher price tag, so double or triple what the anatomy course costs, for instance. And then unfortunately, a lot of people would not finish it. They'll just buy it and never finish it. And I find that to be a waste of everyone's time. So I'm trying to find the best way to share that kind of like elements where we can go over like big parts of the process. No, I don't think you might find it. But yeah, you gotta be, like, if you're a company, you cannot risk it. That's why Blender is such a good option, right? Because if you're a small studio and you're like, hey, I'm gonna be working with 12 different artists and we're gonna be doing something, you could use Blender to... what's the word? You could use Blender to do the whole stuff, and it's gonna be free. You're not gonna have any legal issues or anything. It also definitely affects what part of the world you're from. Like, I know most companies won't try to fight on, like, in a third world country like ours, like in Mexico. So it's I'm not gonna say you're safer, because again, I don't approve that. I feel we should be paying for the things that we're getting from softwares and stuff. But yeah, it's a complicated issue. It's a very gray area. Morally speaking, you should always pay for your licenses. There we go. I feel like that arm movement really helped the character here. Are you gonna watch No Man's Stream of God? Yes, definitely. Definitely. Next week, right? October 10, I believe they did it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have it on the background while I'll work on some of my stuff, but yeah. Definitely want to watch that out. I was a little bit surprised that Grassetti was not gonna be there. I know he's very busy right now. I think he's working at Amazon. He might be in Canada or Seattle or something, but have you ever thought about just creating your own collectible statue? Maybe you can do a collectible statue course. I have it, man. Comics Legends. You've been living under a rock, man. I have it. So this one right here, the anatomy for a 3D artist course, it's exactly that. I know it's anatomy for 3D, so we do cover a lot of anatomy, but we do this Duncan figure, which is my own superhero creation, and I have it 3D printed. It's up there. I'm not gonna bring it down today, but you can again look some of the streams up, and this one's 3D printed. I don't sell it because I sell it through the course. So if you get the course, you get the statue as well, or the files for the statue. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Hudson. That's awesome. And thank you, everyone, for watching here. If you're on YouTube and you're not subscribed, you might want to help us out there. We're getting really, really close to 30K subs. That's going to be a good milestone for the channel. 30K people. How much that is? It's a lot. Why not take it ahead, sir? Like Retopo and Texture? Mainly because of time constraints, Mango. Like, I could do it, but I feel like I'm going to waste too much time or invest too much time on this, and there's other projects that I need to figure out as well. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's blend this here with the neck a little bit more. Like, this could potentially be rigged, and I don't think the rigger would hate me too much. Like, yes, you would need a custom rig, but it's not impossible. Do you like horror art? I like some of it. I do feel like there's a couple that go a little bit too far. But yeah, I do like horror stuff. I used to like horror movies when I was a little bit younger. Nowadays, they do give me a lot of anxiety, so I don't watch as much, but yeah. Can you do a substance texturing of this model in low poly by baking high poly? That's like the game process. I definitely want to do, like, we've been talking about this, and I want to do a game character course where we cover the whole process, but it's probably not going to be a course. We're probably going to have to do a workshop. Because, again, I really am looking for committed people who want to learn the whole process and who are going to commit themselves to doing the whole thing. Anton Kiev, hello from Canada. Q for you. Do you plan to create a course on live haircuts? Yes, haircuts are definitely part of that workshop that I just mentioned. Well, the cool thing about courses, Lord Byron, is at the end of the day, they're investments, right? Like, yes, they cost money, but once you learn the skills, they stay with you forever. And those skills can help you get more money and buy other things. One of the things that I've seen quite a bit, especially from the entrepreneur side of things, is that this delayed gratification, like tactic, have you guys heard about that? Like, even though you could buy something that you really like today, if you instead hold yourself and resist that urge and invest that in something that's going to be more valuable for you in the long run, eventually you're going to be able to buy that thing that you wanted, and you're going to have more stuff available to you because you delayed that gratification. So it's a very important concept to be able to not have everything every single time, right? I'm gonna give you an example. This is from my life. I mentioned that I have a little kid. She's 3 years old, and she sees me play games, right, on my Switch or on my iPad, stuff like that, and she wants to play. So recently I found that she really likes playing Kirby, the Nintendo 64 Kirby and the Crystal Shard game. She really likes it. She's like, oh my god, this is so cool. I love Kirby. I like to play. And she has been able to figure out the controls to be able to beat the first and second level of the game. And she enjoys it quite a bit. She really likes it. But now she wants to play it all the time. And it's like, no, you know what? We're only going to play Kirby on the weekends. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you will get a chance to play a little bit during the day, right? And it has worked quite fine for us because every single day she's asking, hey, what day is today? She's like, oh, today's Tuesday. It's like, oh, when is Friday? Oh, Friday is in 3 days. We need Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. It's like, okay, I can play Kirby on Friday, right? It's like, yeah, you can play Kirby on Friday. So today, when she woke up, she's like, today is Friday, right? It's like, yeah, today's Friday. Oh, okay. When you come back from kindergarten, you can play a little bit of Kirby. And she looks forward to that, and she understands that even though the Switch is there, like, she can see the Switch, she could even, like, grab and hold the Switch, she will not be able to play. So she's delaying, she's learning to be patient and to delay that and be like, okay, I just need to wait until Friday, and on Friday, I'll be able to play. I feel like as adults, we lose that, because we have money to spend, and we can do it whenever we want. So learning to reteach ourselves that's like, hey, right now, I'm gonna invest on my education, I'm gonna invest on my work, I'm gonna spend time working on this, and then I'll play some games, and then I'll go out, and then I'll do this, or I'll do that. That's the kind of stuff that I think can really help us. Let's see. Seraphine says, +8 courses are awesome, explains why to do things and not just tells you to do it. Too many trolls. And yeah, that's always been my philosophy, Seraphine, to explain the reason why. Otherwise, you're not learning. You're just repeating. You're just a button monkey. You're just clicking things. Were people using retopo tools for creating haircards before we had things like haircard brushes? Yes. Like you would create like the actual stripe in Maya, and then you would like manually place it. And even hair brushes or haircard brushes, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but I still prefer to do it a little bit traditional, to create my cards and just like get them in where they're supposed to be. I do feel like we're missing something here. What should we add? Should we add more spikes, or should we add some like pustules or something? Because I feel like this area is looking a little bit empty. Oh, you know what? Let's do some weird like membranes. Could that work? No, I don't love it. We have Amazon to order anything and get it fast. Yes, and again, that I feel has like shifted our perspective of things. Like we've become very impatient, very impatient. Even I myself find myself feeling that way every now and then. It's like, oh, something's gonna take like a week to arrive, and it's like, that's too much. Like I feel like I'm wasting my time. But that's how it used to be not too long ago. So, yeah. Some deep scarring. Yeah, right? Some intense... Oh, you know what could be? Because this arm is... It's kind of like breaking. So let's add... Like if the skin is sort of like breaking up... And we're seeing the muscles show through. You know? I'm gonna follow the direction of the muscles, of course. Like this. And then we can fill it in with clay again too. It's kind of like skinny, like what's the name of this thing when you do a lot of exercise? Striations, right? Yeah, there we go. That looks nice. Like if the skin is failing. The right shoulder and right bicep look a little bit too hard, isn't it? The right shoulder and the right back, yeah, they might be a little bit too intense. I like the shoulder, but the bicep is definitely a little bit too intense here. Because over here we would have the brachialis muscle, which is another muscle here on the inside. The deltoid I kind of like, to be honest. Maybe it's a little bit too far forward. There we go. Let's see. I have trouble highlighting my models when rendering. Do you have a preferred rendering engine? Sorry if the question is... No, you're free to ask as many questions as you want, my friend. I would like to use Maya, Arnold. I find that one to be a very powerful rendering engine. However, Cycles is not a bad one. And I recently released this course, my friend. It's here on the bottom. It's called Portfolio Presentation Workshop. This is free. It's one of the free courses that we have. Plus all of the information here on YouTube, of course. But as for courses, this is a... What is it, like 5-hour course? It says 2 hours, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 2 hours. It's probably like 3 hours. It's closer to 3 hours. But yeah, this one talks about like light setup, camera setup, composition, all that stuff. And we use Blender, so it's free. You can follow it along. And this is a good way to, again, highlight your models, as you said. Yeah, the skin tearing almost like the muscle is too big for the skin to contain. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Kind of like ripping from... I'm thinking about adding some stitches, kind of like Frankenstein. What do you guys think? Like on this arm, maybe? Like splitting the arm and then adding, you know, like stitches? I feel like that could work, interestingly. What do you guys think? Does it cover how to present your UVs? No. UVs, no. But we do go over how to present normal maps, how to present your roughness maps, your diffuse. So we do go over like technical renders, but not UVs. But UVs you can just take a snapshot. Like no one really cares, to be honest. Like they don't have to be pretty or anything. You just gotta show them, and that's it. Like, just show a clean UV, and you're good to go. I think I'm gonna add that. I think I'm gonna split the arm, guys. I like the idea, but I'm gonna use the Zbrush. There we go. Gonna go a little bit more intense here. Oh, that's too much. Too much. Okay, so this is an intense brush, it seems. UV for clean blades, still... Yeah, you do need UVs. Like, I'm not saying that you don't need UVs. I'm just saying that presenting the UVs is not as important as presenting a clean model with good textures and stuff like that. So your focus should always be on the model. Here we go. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start adding some cuts. Kind of like cloth. You know how cloth generates this sort of like wrinkles? So it's similar. And then with clay buildup, I'm gonna add some masses. Again, do the borders there. So again, it feels like the skin is stretching on that specific direction. He's more molded than stitched in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I just wanna, I think like we're missing that little detail, so I wanna add something there. Or maybe even just like that crack right there, just like again, like a merge thing. Have you played Game Boy Advance game? Yeah, of course. I didn't have a Game Boy growing up. We were 4 brothers, 3 brothers and 1 sister, so my parents couldn't afford like a Game Boy for each one of us, and they didn't want to have fights and anything. So we did have video games, but not like personal Game Boys. But I used to play with a cousin of mine that he has one, and yeah, I remember playing Minish Cap, Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories for the Game Boy was very fun as well. Pokemon, of course. And then when I got older, I got myself a DS, Nintendo DS. That's when I had my first sort of like portable device. Maybe time to save. That's an awesome suggestion. Yes, it's definitely a time to save. Had a cheap pirate NES with like all the games, good times. Yeah, I had that with a PlayStation. I remember like a hacked PlayStation 1 or something that allow you to run like pirated games. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, man. Gremlins 2 emulators. Yeah, I remember having emulators as well. See, like, we're all pirates in some way. Can we say then that today is Kirby Day? Today is indeed Kirby game. Lord Byron. Yeah, I really like that detail there. But now since we have that detail there, we should have a detail somewhere else. And I feel like this arm right here might be another good place to do so. Let's go again with the Geo Brush. It's not bad, huh? This Geo Brush, I kind of like it. So I'm gonna go here on the side of the arm. Kind of like a spiral cut or something. Now, there we go. We're gonna have to ban hammer now. Let's ban this fucker. Ban hammer. There we go. It's hard to make the retopology from a post sculpt. Yes, it's a little bit trickier because you're not gonna have symmetry. But in this case, since he's already asymmetrical, I would need to do like the symmetry separately, right? Like you cannot mix it. Actually, now that I remember, this guy was gonna have some pustules in here. Okay, here's a very cool like quick lesson. So when you're doing details such as this, like pustules, right, or thingies, it's a good idea to do them as a separate tool. So I'm gonna append the sphere here. So they work as masks, right? There we go. And you just Control Alt and like place them in different places. And remember, we've talked about this before. Whenever you're adding any sort of detail, details don't just like appear and disappear. There's always like a little bit of a gradient. So it would be weird to have like a big one right there and then nothing else. We're gonna have a big one right there, and then we're gonna have a smaller or medium one, and then we're gonna have some like small ones again too. So like fade them. Otherwise things look way too weird. And you can see this everywhere. I call this the giraffe principle. Something we talked about, I think it was last year. If you take a look at the spots on the giraffe, you're gonna see that they become smaller and smaller as they keep going up and up into the neck or down into legs. So you're never just gonna have like a pattern just stop like suddenly. There's always gonna be, again, a little bit of a gradient. Not with everything, right? Like the horns of a rhino, of course, that one is just a single horn or two horns and that's it. But for this kind of stuff, it's a good idea to again have a little bit of a blend. And now that we have them, we can add the little like inflammation thing around them. Anu, what's up, man? Good morning. Yeah, all good, all good. This and the clown theory. The clown theory, you mean the polypaint stuff? San, sorry, man, sorry. I didn't see your question. What was your question? I missed it. Ricardo says, "Hi, I'm in the loop and I really want Sculpt, but I'm also the motivated metal block, probably to my last job experience." Just try to start sculpting something simple, something that you like. Try doing a goblin, try doing an orc, something that you feel like happy about. And there's this famous quote by Picasso that says that inspiration will find you working. So sometimes all you need is just start doing it, and even after 5-10 minutes, you're gonna find that sort of like inspiration. Oh, there you go. Sansan, have you tried sculpting in VR? I feel like there's not good enough tools, but that would be so fun. Actually, I am going to be showing you a very cool tool very soon, Sansan, about sculpting in VR. I don't have my visor here. I've been doing some tests. There's a very cool sculpting software in VR. I'll show it soon. What machine did you use to 3D print your characters? I have an Elegoo Saturn and an Elegoo Neptune. I use the Elegoo Neptune to print the base, and I use the Elegoo Saturn to print the character itself. I also have an Elegoo Mars, but I haven't used it in a while after getting the Elegoo, the Saturn, because it's just bigger, the Saturn, so it's easier. But yeah, I've been using Elegoo for several years now. I really like the brand. I think as for quality and price, they are really, really good. I have some reviews of the machines as well on the channel in case you want to check them out. Can you tell me the best way to create assassin type clots in Zbrush? If I were to do like real clots or cool clots, I would probably do them inside of Marvelous Designer. Like if you want to do like Ezio Auditore's like outfit from Assassin's Creed, that kind of stuff is done with Marvelous Designer. Even back in the day, like I think some of those early games, they used Marvelous Designer. Can you sculpt in here inside of Zbrush? Yes, you can, but it's definitely a little bit trickier. Should we add a lab coat to this guy? You guys want to add a lab coat? That'll be interesting. You want me to show you how I would do like a very basic sort of like lab coat to this guy? I'm not going to do it in Marvelous. I'm going to do it here in Zbrush, but I can show it to you. Flip Kids, thank you very much, my friend. Have a great time. See you next time. Yeah, like failed experiment, right? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dynamic solo this thing. Well, actually, first, or before we do this, I need to just give myself a little bit of an idea of where the spikes are. So I'm going to add again a little bit of this holes. I'll polish them a little bit later. See you, my friend. See you. Have a great weekend. I remember when this video came out, when Jinx was released. I used to play a lot of League of Legends. Do you guys still play? Any guy here in chat plays League of Legends still? I don't know how the meta is right now. I used to play support. And I played with my brothers. We played for a long time. Highest I got was gold. Like high gold. I think I got to like gold 2 or something. It was a fun game, but it was very stressful as well. I still love the character designs and everything. Playing right now, Aram. Yeah, Aram was one of my favorite modes because it was a little bit chiller. At least there was not as much stress, to be honest. And I like the philosophy of the game, right? Simple to play, difficult to master. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go to the character, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone it to work on a different clone here, because we're a little bit higher on resolution. So I'm gonna see remesh, or no, I'm just gonna dynamesh at a lower resolution. There we go, and we're gonna mask out. So we're gonna mask here, here, here. And we're gonna mask the back. There we go. And then with mask a pen, let's open up the chest area. And I'm gonna get rid of where the holes are. I don't mind if the cuts are not perfect, but I do want to clean it up as much as I can. It's kind of like doing a blocking of the actual coat. There we go. And then we're going to extract. So subtool, extract, extract. With 0 thickness, this is very important. Extract, accept. There you go. So as you can see, we have a sort of like very basic version of a damaged like coat. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this border right here. I'm gonna bring it out or down, back, scale it up a little bit. There we go. So it's a little bit longer. Smooth it out a little bit. And then we're gonna see remesh to give them better geometry. So see remesh. Doesn't really matter the density. We just want to have something that's workable. You can refine the masks. I wish you could save the masks. I wish we had like a layer mask that we could save so that we can continue cleaning them up after the fact. Yeah, that I agree. That would be pretty cool. Bro, I saw you really love this model. Its face looked like yours. Yeah. We used a 3D scan of my face and started from there. So yeah. I hope this doesn't crash, because if it crashes, I'm gonna be sad. I mean, we did save, so I'm not gonna lose too much, but I hope it doesn't crash. I kind of let's see. Riot is very impressive that an old PvP game is still alive today and doing better than before. Yeah, is it doing better than before? Like, that's the first time I hear that. I didn't know it was doing better than before, but there we go. This looks pretty damn sick. Nice. Okay, so now we go back to our character, and we're gonna append that. So append, we append the extract. There we go. Let's go to the actual code, and we're gonna go. Well, let me save before anything bad happens. There we go. And now we're gonna do dynamics. So I'm gonna first set the collision volume. I'm gonna bring the inflate down. Dynamics, and I'm gonna recalculate the collision volume. There we go. Let's actually bring this here. There we go. And we're gonna run the simulation. There we go. That's it. We pretty much just need to run it a little bit. I'm now gonna mask this top part right here. I'm gonna run it again, so that like this top or bottom part falls a little bit more. Let's soften the mask a little bit. Run it again. There we go. Actually, let's keep running it. There we go. And now, since we have relatively clean topology right there, right? It's not perfect, but it's relatively clean. We can go to geometry, dynamics of division, turn that on, and give it a little bit of thickness. So with clothing, if you're gonna do sculpts, you're always gonna add thickness to your cloth. Like you cannot not have like this. It's very, very important. There we go. And now we have like a lab coat, right? Then we apply this and you keep working because this is not done. You either add more subdivision levels. You can dynamesh this, by the way. And we can start adding like all of the wrinkles and folds in here. I think you could save the mask by creating an alpha of the mask if your object has UVs. Yeah, exactly. If it has UVs, but if it doesn't have UVs, then it's not going to be possible. One of the hats could use a helmet hat. I'm not sure if a scientist would have a hat, though. Yeah, an ID badge, definitely. Definitely an ID badge. Probably on this side right here. Let's add it already. This would be a nightmare to rig, by the way. Now that we added the code, that's difficult. It was already challenging without the, what's the word? Without the movement. Now with this movement, it will be like definitely tricky. But for a, what's the word? For a, I think we can have it there in the code. For a statue or for a concept, that this works. Like I'm imagining this, like imagine like a very creepy hospital, like hallway, and this guy just like opens one of the surgery doors and she's just like coming out. That would be pretty interesting, right? That's an awesome lob code. I'll wear it if you made it into merch and sell it. Yeah, this could potentially be 3D printed, especially because we do have thickness on the code. Like even those like hollow spaces right there. Again, it would be a little bit of a nightmare to paint, but it could work. But this is again where you need to be very mindful of where you're gonna be or why are you gonna be doing the things you're doing, right? Like what is the main focus of this product? Is it gonna be for a game? Is it gonna be for a movie, for a concept piece, like a 3D print or things like that? How would you gain experience for the game industry if you struggle to get a job? Do your own games. That's an excellent question, man. Do your own game. What's stopping you, dude? What is stopping you right now from downloading Unreal Engine, grabbing one of the basic like templates and doing a simple game? Do a temple run, do a side scroller, do a little, I don't know, like Pac-Man version. Like you can grab any of the old games and try to do it yourself. You do 1, 2, 3 assets, you do a little bit of programming. It's not that hard to do the programming. If you don't want to do the programming, find someone who wants to get into the industry as a programmer and be like, hey, let's do a small demo, let's do a small game. That's experience. That shows that you can problem solve. That shows that you can do something and be, what's the word, like motivated to do something. You want to get into the collectibles industry, do a collectible. You want to get into the cinematic film industry, do a little cinematic shot, like try to do a composition. All of those things, like no one's stopping you. There's, I love using this quote, but there's no video game police that's stopping you, dude, in going to your house like, dude, you're not allowed to do a game because you're not in the game industry yet. Just do it. That will give you experience. That will make you learn stuff. That will show you, hey, maybe I need to learn a little bit more about this or a little bit more about that. And it will make you stronger as an artist, as a person, and it might open up some doors for you to later on get into an actual studio. If you directly copy for experience, do not try to sell it. Yes, exactly. Don't sell the game, right? Like, you're not gonna, like, if you grab Pac-Man and you do your own version of Pac-Man, and instead of Pac-Man, like, here, I'm gonna give you a simple example, and let's say I want to do a game. I'm gonna pick Pac-Man, and the only thing I'm gonna change is, instead of having the yellow Pac-Man, I'm gonna do a skeleton Pac-Man. So I'm gonna do a skull that does the waka 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 thing, and then instead of ghosts, I'm gonna have, I don't know, it could be anything, like cats, like a funny version of a cat. So this skull wants to eat cats, whatever. And instead of pellets, it's gonna be coins. And instead of the maze, it's gonna be, again, like a little graveyard environment, like what we talked about. So there you go. Now you have a little game. You show the assets, how you did all of the assets. You show how you did the programming, or someone else does the programming. And that's actual experience, because now you show that you can grab an idea and do it completely, right? As someone else said right here, like, you're not going to be able to sell that game, unfortunately, because that's not an original idea. You're just copying Pac-Man, so you're going to get sued. But it can definitely be a good exercise and a good way to show potential employers, hey, I did this game. That's impressive. Like, if someone comes to me with a portfolio and they're like, hey, I want to get into the game industry. I haven't had a chance to work at a studio, but I made a game, and this is it. And they see the game is like, oh, this is cool. You did this? Yeah. All by yourself? Yeah. That's impressive. Right? So that shows more about you as a person and as an artist than just a normal image or a portfolio could show. And sometimes those are the kind of, like, individuals that we want to have in our projects. People that can show you, hey, like, I just did it. Like, I didn't care about what anyone else was saying, and I just did it. And how many of these successes have we seen in the indie space, right? You guys remember Flappy Bird a couple of years ago? That guy made bank for a couple of days until he shut it down. And it was just a dude that was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do Flappy Bird. I'm gonna just do this thing. Which was, again, not even a super original idea. But he did it, he went viral, and that's it. So don't wait. That would be my advice for this. Don't wait for some sort of, like, external validation to do the things that you want to do. I'm gonna give you another example, and I just showed you to you in the stream. I've never gone to like literature classes or anything, but I wanted to write a short story, and I did. And now I shared it with you guys, with the world. Some of you thought it was cool. Some of you might think, I was missing something here or there. I don't care, because I already did it. So if I want to continue doing it, you just gotta do it. That's it. Casey says, I'm not gonna learn programming. That's fine. Find someone who wants to learn programming and do a teamwork. It's like, hey, let's do Pac-Man just to have as again, evidence for our portfolios and our CVs and stuff. You'll do the programming, I'll do the models, and we'll both benefit from this situation. Do you know something about crashes in Maya these days? The only crash I have is when I open Maya. So I open it the first time and I get a crash, and then I open it up again and I'm fine. I haven't seen any big what's the word? I haven't seen anything particularly specific. Oh, sometimes with live booleans as well. Yeah, Unreal blueprints are a really good way. Yeah, create Pac-Man 3D elements. Grab your favorite game from your childhood and just do one level. Like, I'm not telling you, hey, go and do Super Mario 64 by yourself. Like, that's not going to be possible, or it's going to be very difficult. But if you just go and say, hey, I really like the Super Mario, like the slide level. That's a simple level, and you can learn how to do that level in probably like a couple of months. You do the level, you show it, you send it to people, you include it as a link for people to download, and there you go. You got something that's more interesting than just waiting for the perfect opportunity to show your skills. Show them. That would be my advice. Show your skills. If you think you have the skills to make a game, show it. Andrea Mel says, hello! Hello, Andrea! How are you? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Oh, that's an amazing quote, Becker. Oh, dude. That's an amazing quote. You should get that published or something. That's so good. Artists do not need permission to create. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, just do it. Like, that's how I started, like, the studio that we have with VR stuff. That's how we did it. Like, we went to the museum and they were like, hey, we want to do something VR related. Have you ever done anything VR related? No, but we'll figure it out. And we did. And we shipped. And we are, like, doing that stuff as well. So that's how a lot of things work in the real world. Like, you might not have all of the tools, but if you just do it, you're gonna learn in the process. Sometimes you won't have as much, what's the word? chance to make mistakes, so you gotta be a little bit more precise in your execution. But just do it. If you have the chance, go for it. I know it sounds very idealistic, but I don't know how else to to share it with you guys. And I guess that's one, like, if we go back to a little bit of what we're talking about, that's one of the reasons why I started this channel and on all of these things, because I realized, hey, I was able to do a lot of cool stuff, and I really enjoy what I do day to day. I want to share this with more people, because I'm really, like, hopefully this doesn't sound like it too wishful, but I really believe, guys, that if I was able to do it, someone who never drew before in his life, someone who never did anything artistic in his life, you guys can do it as well. And hopefully with these videos and this content and all this, you guys are inspired to do it as well. Like, I want to see you guys making stuff that's even, like, way better than what I do. I love what I do, but I know you guys can do so much better. And hopefully with all of these things, again, you will be able to feel that. David was mentioning this to me the other days. Like, making art changes you. It changes the way you see things and the way you appreciate things. It gives you a very, like, different perspective to the world. And you guys gotta embrace that. Stop feeling afraid or scared about what could happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. But what I do know is, if you start creating, you will be surprised by all of the things that you can do. And if there's one thing that I've seen in successful people, is that they're not afraid of trying. I don't know if I would call myself, like, super successful, but I find success in some of the areas that I've pursued, and I found failure in other areas, so it's perfectly normal. But you're not gonna know unless you try. And I guess that's one of the secrets to life. You really, it sounds very epic now with the song in the background, but you gotta really go for it, and you really gotta give it a shot. Give it a shot, see if it works. If it doesn't work, that's fine. You'll try something else. You'll fix that and improve on the next run, right? It's kind of like I find, like, sometimes our professional careers are like this roguelite games where you try something for a while and then the run fails and then you just try again. And you learn something on the past one, right? On the past run. So you hopefully don't make the same mistakes over and over. What are your thoughts on the games industry? I've seen a lot of news of layoffs. Yeah, it's still not in the best, or the best it has been. We've had better times, but things are improving a little bit better. And one thing that I'm really glad about the 3D industry in recent news is that people are realizing that AI sucks, that stupid decisions can make a full game fail completely. Listening to the audience and to what people want is a good way to, like, create things that are cool. So we are seeing, I think, a change in mindset in our industry. So hopefully that will bring better times in the next couple of years. Andrea says, oh, that's an amazing icon, by the way, the Marmoset guy. Little Marmoset monkey. I'm so happy to catch your stream. I originally saw you posted a video about my works beta release. Fun video. Oh, you work at Marmoset, Andrea? Andrea, why didn't you say that before? Yes. Yes, I did a little bit of a video on Marmoset 5's release. Amazing software. Amazing software. I can't wait for the full release. There you go, Mr. Support himself. There you go, Andrea. Awesome. Yeah, we've been hyping Marmoset for a while now. We're waiting for the full release. Is there anything you can share with us? Should we expect any news soon? But yeah, I really enjoy Marmoset. I've been trying some of the Udemy baking things lately. Really cool. News is on its ways for sure. Awesome. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Let's say we had a... Have you tried 3D Code? Yes, of course. I have not tried the sculpting section of 3D Code, Bewalk, but I've done painting, a little bit of painting, and I've tried a little bit of the baking stuff. I know 3D Code is mostly used for like hand painted stuff, but I'll take a look at that. Yeah, Andrea, if you can, like, connect there with Sarn, he helps me a lot with all of this, like, outreach stuff for, like, collaborations and things. We can definitely do something, because I would love to do more stuff with Marmoset. There we go. So this is what we had at the beginning of the stream. This is what we have now. Not bad, right? Not bad. I've been using Topogon for retopology, Biwok. I've heard really good things. I don't have 3D Code. I have 3D Textura. I'm not sure if 3D Textura also has the retopology tools. Otherwise, I might need to upgrade to the full like 3D Code software. But I've heard that like you're not the first person that tells me that the retopo tools are unreal. So I might give it a shot. I'm very happy with Topogon, to be honest. Like I've been using it for a couple of years now, and it's really good. But if you're telling me that it's worth it to give it a shot to 3D Code, I might. I just might. Let's see. I'm always afraid of failure. Like, even before starting the artworks, it may not come out good. What if I mess up? How to overcome this? Oh, that's a great question, Extreme Magician. The way you overcome failure is by embracing failure. You will suck. There was this very famous quote about Adventure Time had this. The only way to kinda not suck at something is to start doing that thing. Or how was it? It was Jake's quote, but it was something like that. Like, you're gonna suck at doing anything new. But that's the only way to kinda not suck later on as you keep doing it and doing it. So the first sculpt that you do, the first model that you do will suck. And I even tell you guys this during the courses. If you've seen any of my live courses, I will tell you, hey, we're gonna do, for instance, face anatomy. We're gonna be doing a portrait. Your first portrait will suck. It will not look as good as the one that I'm showing you right here. It's not magic. But if you do it once, and you do it again, and you do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, by the time you're doing the 20th like portrait or the 50th portrait, it's gonna look really good. So you cannot expect to be great at something. You might have talent for something. Like, you might try a new tool and you realize, oh, I'm actually a little bit good at this. Well, now you keep polishing and keep pushing. But even if you suck at something, you can get way better and be quite proficient at it. But you gotta try, okay? Let's see. It was an amazing stream, Abe and team. Thanks a lot. It was my first time watching you guys stream. Pure pleasure. Keep the great work and see you soon. See you soon as well, Nick. See you soon. That 1-3D artist. What's up, man? How are you? No, don't worry, Martin. You are welcome here to our stream. We're still gonna go for probably 20 more minutes or something. We've been having quite a bit of fun here sculpting this monster version of myself. So there we go. Do you think perfection holds people back? Yes, definitely. And it's perfection and fear of failing. That's, I would say, the main thing about this. I was gonna say something and then I forgot about it. Oh yes. This is very important. And I'm gonna turn off the music actually, because what I'm about to tell you is fundamental. I've seen more success in friends and peers of mine who have the dedication and the discipline to pursue any of the things that we do in this industry than from those that had a lot of talent and a lot of like ease of use with the tools that did not have the same discipline. So yes, talent and what's the word that they say? It's talent. Talent is the word. Talent is important. It will get you like a couple of steps ahead. But dedication and hard work is way more important. Like, there's a lot of other talented artists out there that get stuck and they don't produce a lot of stuff as frequently as others who are more disciplined and dedicated to creating awesome things every day, every week, every month. So hard work beats talent every single time. Yes, talent is important, but even if you don't have talent, you can still get really ahead of a lot of others if you just have that hard work and dedication to pursue those things that you like to do. Okay? So don't sleep on hard work and dedication, because again, it's really fundamental. There we go. Continue. So that's a very important message, because I really want to emphasize on that. Says, I found it. Jack says, sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something. There you go. That's the quote. That's from Jake from Adventure Time. I didn't see the series, to be honest, but I remember someone sharing that specific quote. I was like, damn, that's so true. That's definitely so true. Sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something. Talent just helps to learn slightly faster, but mostly being handed something actually usually makes people lose respect for it, whereas working hard for it usually fosters respect for the skill. Totally agree. Totally agree. And I feel like people who are talented also sometimes get a lot of pressure because now they feel like they need to feel some expectations. And that's also a sort of like a double-edged sword. So yes, talent is important. Talent will, like, if you have talent and like passion and dedication, you're gonna be like top 0.1%. Like you're gonna be on the very like highest points of the like industry or any industry. But if you feel like you're lacking a little bit on talent, but you have a lot of dedication, you can still climb the ladder like quite nicely. You can get really high up and generate some really cool things. So don't sleep on that. And yeah, again, as someone was mentioning, perfection is also a very dangerous game, guys. Like I found that very early in my career that I never wanted to be like the best 3D artist. No. Like that's way too heavy of a burden to carry. I want to be a good 3D artist. I want to share what I do with the world. I want to be a really good teacher. I want to inspire others. I want to tell my stories. That's it. That's I think a very important goal of any human, to be honest. So be very mindful on how you set up your goals. Hey, Leal, where's my percent with my discipline? Oh, David has been showing a lot of discipline. He's working on a very cool character. He's been sharing some of the stuff on the Whip channel there on the Discord. Good stuff, man. Like, I'm really proud. So a lot of people give up very fast. When they see that something's not working, they just give up and abandon their dreams. At that point, I'm sure that it wasn't really their dream. Because that's the thing. Like, if you really think that that's going to be your dream and you give up so easily, was that really your dream? No, right? Because if it was really your dream and passion, you wouldn't have quit it so easily. Damian Santos said, I just want to give up on the contest because my model was going as well as I wanted, but I saw a face that says that succeeds made by a lot of mistakes. Yeah, and here's another thing. Like, I know the contest is a really good way to motivate yourself and to have a goal in mind, but anytime I've entered a contest, I've never entered it with the idea of winning. Like, if I win, cool. But I'm doing this to learn, I'm doing this to have fun, I'm doing this to improve. That's it. Because once you, again, it really depends on the kind of like mentality that you use to approach things. Once you start approaching things with like money in mind or with like success in mind, I personally feel like you're going in the wrong direction, especially in art stuff. Yes, there's certain expectations that you need to fill for certain things, but we should be a little bit more mindful of how we evaluate things and stuff. That's another great thing, Dupe. That's another great thing. You should never compare yourself to anyone else. You don't know what they have. You don't know what they don't have. You don't know what they had gone through in life or what they will go through in life. So never compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to yourself. Like, ask yourself, have I grown as an artist in the past 3 months, 6 months, 1 year? And you will see. You will see the improvement. You will see the things that you're doing better and the things that you are improving upon. So yeah, that's a very valuable advice as well, dude. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has their own race and their own thing. And if you get into that sort of like mentality of trying to beat others or be better than others, oh man, you're gonna suffer so much. You're gonna live completely frustrated because there's so many other like persons out there that have so many other things. It's impossible. It's impossible to compete. So don't do that. A character artist said once, is the Discord only available? No, Comics Legend, the Discord's available to everyone. We have a lot of people. How many members do we have right now, Sarn? Like almost 7,000, right? And we got like industry experts, hobby enthusiasts, students, a little bit of everything. People who do 3D, people who do 2D. So no, the Discord is for everyone. Character artist said once that when we've been working on the sculpt for 30 hours that it isn't working, no one went to scrap it and start again. It's more important than being... Yeah, that's exactly what I did with the environment course. I've been working on that course for the past like 2 months, and I just realized it's not gonna work. Let's kill it. Like, I would rather just kill it and do something again, improve, learn from those mistakes, and do it better than just push something that's not gonna work. So yeah, learning how to, or at one point to abandon something or scratch it and just start over, very, very important. Yeah, almost 7K. Yeah, there you go. I was terrible at Zbrush, but I learned on my own and I landed a great sculpting job. They love my work and I'm still learning every day. Fake it till you make it. Yeah. And it's not about... I saw a recent TikTok about this. You can find some interesting things on TikTok. Like, it's not all garbage. And it was a lady and she was saying, it's not fake it till you make it. It's like project or it's not pretend. But picture yourself on where you want to be and do the things that would get you there to be there, right? So if you want to be very strong, you're not going to fake that you're strong and just like drink a ton of protein shakes and stuff like that and not go to the gym. But it's like, go to the gym and do the things that would make you strong. That's pretending or faking it. And then you will make it. Like do the habits that will make you that successful person or that successful job or whatever to really get there, right? Project confidence and set your goals for the future. There you go. Yeah, no, TikTok is totally garbage. I hate TikTok. I hate uploading to TikTok as well. I don't like that platform. But it has some interesting tidbits here and there. Like, there's some content creators that actually share some interesting things. If you're just seeing, like, stupid dances and things like that, then yeah, it's probably just killing your time. But, again, I've seen some cool stuff in there. Like, some solid advice from different types of creators. It's like with everything. Like, even YouTube, like, or Twitch, right? You can find so many... What, next time you're gonna see me on a bathtub here just talking about life? No, right? So there's stupid stuff everywhere. You gotta be smart enough to know what stuff is valuable or can help you and what stuff is just like gonna affect you. I've been starting over the entire day trying to post my dragon with T-Pose Master, but it's just giving me error 32. I haven't had that error. It is really hard not to when you click on ArtStation. Yeah, but again, like I remember feeling that way back in my days when I started 3D. There was no ArtStation. We had Zbrush Central, and it was also very discouraging to go into Zbrush Central and see all of the amazing sculpts and be like, oh man, I'm never gonna get there. But then something changed on my way of seeing things, and I started seeing them as inspirations. Like, okay, I will get there. I don't know how long it will take me to get there, but I will get there. Not to the top row, but to the level that I see in the top row. And I just need to focus on trying to find out the answers that will get me to that point. Like, what do I need to learn to get to that specific point? That's the secret. Do you have experience in character creator? No, I really haven't used it. I've used a little bit of Ecury to do some rigs and poses, but I haven't really done haven't really done that. Ev's hot tub stream confirmed, taking his studio in a different direction, I guess. Yeah, right. No. I don't understand. Like, I see you guys. I'm gonna confess a guilty pleasure of mine. I know I've talked a lot about trash about the Pokemon cards, but when I'm watching TikTok, I get like really what's the word, like focused on those videos where people are just opening packs to see if they get like a nice card. I guess I get like really interested because I don't understand. It's like, why are they doing this? Why are they spending so much money for just like a piece of cardboard, right? Like a shiny piece of cardboard. But then I found another type of streams where people pay a streamer to buy packs for them, and then they open the packs for the person that bought them, and then they send the cards to that person, right? And it's like, what the hell? Why like, if the fun thing about opening Pokemon cards is opening the packs yourself and then seeing whether you get a you get a hit or not. Why are they paying someone else to open their packs for them? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm an unboxing man. Yeah, I do find, I don't know, it just like hits the right parts of my brain, I guess. Like seeing unboxing things like, oh, are they gonna get it? There's this guy, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It's like, should I open it or should it keep it sealed? And this guy's doing this jingle thing and he opens like very expensive packs. It's just like, it's entertaining content, I'm not gonna lie. I do find myself guilty of spending too much time watching some of those things every now and then, but I cannot deny that it's an interesting thing. But I don't understand how some Pokemon like boxes and packs are worth so much and you don't even know what's inside. Like that part of like the business is like mind-blowing to me. Maybe it's a way for them to also share opening to everyone. Yeah, I guess. Like again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't understand it. Like I don't understand that type of content. Similar to the like hot tub thing that we were talking. Like there's people that find that interesting. Well, to each their own, I guess. Oh, well, I think this was a great stream, guys. We had a lot of fun, right? A lot of topics and a lot of conversation. Let me save this right here. It's the modern day novellas. Yeah, or the modern day gambling. Yeah, that kind of sounds like it, to be honest. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna stop the stream right now. I got some other stuff to do here at the studio. I'm gonna continue working on the course. Remember, we're gonna have a new course next week, so make sure to tune in for next Friday. We're gonna have another special stream there, and we're gonna have more content. If you're working on your creature, make sure to post there on the Discord channel, share some of your progress, and keep pushing throughout the weekend. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Sarn for helping here with the chat as well. Thanks everyone for this amazing stream. It's gonna be available on YouTube soon as well. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you want to check some of our premium courses, they're of course available on our website. Thank you Twitch, thank you YouTube. I'll see you back on the next one, and please don't forget, always learning, always improving. I'll see you back on the next one, guys. Bye bye.